Hi everyone, I hope you're all safe and doing well. Welcome to the session on digital transformation of procurement. This subject has become very relevant today, specifically after COVID-19. Before COVID-19, I could say people used to talk of digital technology, but now it is basically the path has become accelerated. Some of you may be thinking why. The reason is our behavior has changed, our methodologies have changed. So once you change your behavior, your methodology, the way we do it, how and what we buy has changed. And there's a wake-up call that we have to become agile. And I was telling earlier also, if I go 2 decades, 3 decades back, everybody, particularly those in manufacturing, used to talk about lean procurement, lean manufacturing. The word lean was only keep what you need. It was true. But during this COVID-19, everybody found the lean cannot survive, we cannot survive. There's only one supplier. And if that supplier some way cuts down the supply, your whole production stops. So the question came now, guys, is lean good enough? Now people are talking around is that we have to become agile, flexible, responsive like a tiger. And you can only become flexible and agile when all the players in the chain are connected, like a tower. Everybody is connected. It's not a straight linear path. If you look at your own good old days, somebody will say, has the supplier will call you, sir, I haven't got my payment. You will call the finance guy, you will call this, because you don't have access. You only know the acquisition part. You only know the making the PO part. Everything was silos. But now we are talking of moving away from silos to linear path to a connected path. I mean, all are connected. So it is more of other way around, the peer-to-peer, everybody is connected. So what we have kept around objective today is walk through the procurement journey and evolution. Understanding the concept of digitalization. I know there are two words. One is called digitization. One is called digitalization. I'll try to clarify those terms. Then we'll also walk through the strategic sourcing and category management, this term a little bit. I won't spend too much time on that, but just to get the clarity around what is strategic and what is category. Then we'll talk about the role of digital technologies. There are a wide range of digital technologies around. And this is where I want to check with you whether any one of you is using digital technology. Or maybe they think ERP is a digital technology. Or they think e-procurement is a digital technology. So we'd like to make a clarity on that part. We also want to know the maturity level of your procurement. Now, when we say I'm having this, can I withstand all the shocks around? If any shock happens like COVID-19 next time, can I withstand it? Am I mature enough? So whether I can take all those shocks or not. So there's a maturity level. Although we have a small game on that, but that takes half an hour. So time may not permit on the maturity. I'll explain the maturity part, but that will be your assignment. So I'll give the assignment to you, then you can do it your own time and assess your own maturity level of your procurement function, not yours, your department function. And then how do we transform this around to digital first economy? And when we talk of digital first economy, we are talking of digital economy, nothing more than that. So broadly, I would say we want to amplify the role of procurement team. The role of procurement team, which has been for ages, simple support function. Its relevance was very basic, I would say. But now we are moving into value-added activity. So in short, the journey is moving from tactical to digital. So that's the way we are talking of the journey around. So if you want to be part of the digital journey, we have to understand what is digitization. Should I do it or not? Can I delay it or not? So each one of you, I'm sure some of you must have already started the path. If not, then let's try to understand it. Now, the agenda which I have kept around for this today's session is in 4 sessions. So we have got session 1, as I said to you earlier, procurement journey and evolution. I'm sure all of you got this agenda part. So in session 1, we'll talk about introduction part a little bit, understanding the procurement part, evolution of procurements, procurement journey from 1 to 4.0, pillars of excellence. So if you have any question, please raise your hand. Don't wait till end. And each session will be followed by few poll questions around. Session 2 will be the concepts and digital procurement. Understanding what is digital, what is digitalization, what is digitization. And I can give you a good example from my personal life. Then we'll talk about ERP versus e-procurement. So we'll talk about ERP. I know many of you have already implemented, I can say across the board. Most of you people are using ERP. Now we're talking about e-procurement, and now we're talking digital technology. Each is the different steps around. Then we'll talk about then we'll have a coffee break for 15 minutes. Then session 3 we are kept around is overview of digital technologies. The list of all digital technologies, whether it's a blockchain, whether it's an artificial intelligence, whether it's a big data, have we got all or not? So that's what we'll do it around. Then we'll do the transformation process. Now the next thing comes that you got the selection in a phased manner. Now you want to implement it, the roadmap part. So we'll talk in the roadmap, and after the roadmap, I'll also touch a little bit about the maturity of your departments. So this is what I have kept in mind. So each session will be followed by poll questions, but questions answers, you can stop me anytime. No have to worry around. If any doubts, it's a very personal things around. So if you have any questions, don't have to wait till last minutes around. Don't be too formal, be informal. If something is not clear, voice is not clear, stop me up, no issue. So well, with this, friends, I want to keep the floor open to you. If each one of you could introduce yourself. So let me go with the name, which I have, I won't say alphabetically, the way people registered it. So should I request Manohar Patidar? Okay, Manohar is still there. Sridhar, you are there. Sridhar, you want to brief about yourself, about your background and what are you expecting around? Just in 1 minute. Sridhar, are you there? I think you might be muted. If you can unmute yourself and speak, yeah. Hi, Sridhar, good morning. Can you hear me? Okay, looks he's not there. Lokesh Khalwani, Lokesh, you are there? Okay, then I just switch over to the next one. I don't know whether you're able to hear me. Is that the issue around or what? Rohit Sharma, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Now it's better. I was thinking, okay. Why so many people around?
Yeah, everything is fine here. Yeah, so good morning, everyone. My name is Rohit Sharma. I am working as a consultant in Deloitte, Malaysia. And I have been part of different roles across my career. I have been implementation consultant. I have been end user. I have been e-auction manager in companies. So currently I'm working on a digital transformation of a project in one of the EPC company in Malaysia. So I thought this would be a good experience, what we are doing versus, I have been attending a lot of sessions of ISM. So just wanted to check what we are doing is in line with, what should be done. So that's about it. Thanks.
Well, super, Rohit. I think this is wonderful that you have joined us. You can share from your experience also, but we'll certainly touch on this one.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, then we have Mr. Yajdi Khambata. Yajdi Khambata, are you there?
Hello, good morning, sir, and good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Yajdi. Good to hear your voice.
Yeah. I've also been attending ISM's programs regularly, although digital is something new to me, and I hope to learn something.
Great. So the next one is, we have got Anuj Wadhwa. I think you will have to unmute, I think.
Yes. Hi, I'm working as an procurement executive, and currently we are into linear procurement, and we are into phase wherein we need to assess whether we can go digital procurement processes and how to process it. So that's why I'm into ISM, and this is my first webinar that I'm attending.
So nice. Thank you, Vinay. Welcome again. So
Thank
the
you.
next one is Roshan. Roshan S. Yeah.
Hi, Kushan. This is Roshan. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you very much.
All right. How are you today?
I'm okay. You tell us. Yeah.
All right. So I have almost 7 years of experience around sourcing, procurement, all around the globe. Like I've handled projects in yeah, EMEA, APAC, India, and all Asia Pacific regions, right? So I also been handling e-auctions and contract executions. I have done the vendor risk assessments. Almost all S2C activities have been covered so far in this my career. So now to talk about the digitalization is something that which is hot topic, right? So I just wanted to make sure I'm aligning and I'm getting updated with all this information. So this is my first ISM program that I'm attending, and I've also enrolled myself to ISM CPSM. And I'm really glad that I'm part of the session, which is going to help me a lot in my career.
Thank you again, Roshan. I think CPSM you will enjoy it. It's a wonderful documentation here.
Yes.
Okay. Next one is Devasarita Dasgupta. Hi, Devasarita. You are there?
Yes, I'm very much here. Good
Good.
morning, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. So, yeah, we talk a lot about digitization and digitalization. Even though I have worked in both the non-ERP and very stringent ERP environments, it baffles me that in most of the traders that we have in India, we don't stringently follow what is digitization and digitalization, right? Per se, we don't. I mean, let's be honest about it. So I want to learn the how to, how to go through the entire process. I mean, at least understand the steps that one should follow to be fully digitized. So that's my take from this session of yours. But thank you, Mr. Batra. You're doing a wonderful thing over here, teaching us, on small topics, once a while. So thank you so much. It is really immensely helping me after enrolling in the ISM sessions. So kindly, yes, do take more such sessions. It's
Oh, nice.
helping us.
Devasarita, firstly, I'm very happy by having a gender balance, little bit, I would say. Otherwise, normally we get only the men's around. And the type of companies I have worked in the US, it was very must to have a gender balance. Then when I went to the UN, it was a 50-50 must. I will not get promoted until I have 50% staff member of the women. At least in this training program, there's a one. So I'm very happy that you joined us. So nice. Thanks again. Okay, then we have Manoj. Manoj, you're there?
Yes, good morning, Mr. Batra.
Good morning, Manoj.
Yeah, I think I'm speaking with you first time face to face. I'm sorry, I muted my video because I just being a Saturday, I just took my bath and I am sitting in front of a laptop. I'm sorry about it, but yes, I am leading as I mentioned also. Okay, I'm a Pune chapter of ISM India, and I am leading a supply chain in a very large organization, that is Associated Capsules Limited. We are having a hybrid digitization. Basically, we are at hybrid stage, partially digitized, partially manual. So sorry. And yes, but if we compare ourselves with pharma industry, we are much ahead. But with this session, I would like to understand more aspects of the digitization in terms of procurement, in terms of logistics, end-to-end supply chain. And definitely would like to promote this session in my organization. And also, besides training the professional in my team, would also like to promote ISM in Pune region specifically. That is what is my take from this session actually.
So nice, Manoj. Thanks again. Manoj is our director for the Pune chapters. We welcome many people. There are many professionals who are working and they work as ambassador for us. So we also work like in the US headquarters, more of an NGO type. So we welcome any one of you want to take the lead in the regions. So welcome. Then we have Udit Saraswat. Udit, you are there?
Hello, good morning. I'm here. Are you able to listen to me?
Oh, yes, we can hear you.
Good morning, everyone. I have worked for around 5-6 years in Bharat Electronics as procurement executive, and currently I'm pursuing my MBA from Grenoble School of Business in France. And today I'm here to learn a little bit more about the applications of different technology in procurement, and I'm looking forward to enhance my skills with this discussion. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Udit, for joining us. I hope this will be useful to you. Then we have Deepak from JSW. Deepak, you're there?
Yes, sir. Good morning to everyone. I'm working in JSW Steel for the last 12 years or so. And recently, for the last 3 years, I'm looking after procurement. So as my company is aggressively moving into digitalization projects, I thought that this session would equip me for working in those projects.
Great. Thank you, Udit.
Thank you.
But if any question you want to bring up during your meeting, please bring up. Huh?
Yeah. Thank you.
Then we have Rohidas.
Good morning, sir, and good morning, everyone. I'm audible. Hello.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, sir, I'm representing Godrej Construction of Godrej and Boys Manufacturing. Currently, I am driving a digital transformation journey for my function, where we have already initiated evaluating various digital products or demos through various sourcing solution agencies. And even Office 365 features like Power BI, OneDrive, all those we are using to automate wherever the things are there. But doing so, what are the expectations from this presentation is that to understand what are the steps to transfer the procurement into digital, and what are the challenges are coming in implementing the digitalization. So that's it.
I think you put a very good point around challenges are certainly there. Along with the challenges come opportunity. If there is no challenge, there's no opportunity there. So I think both goes together. If it goes towards opportunity, you have done the wonderful job. If not, it goes downward then. So we'll talk both ways. Okay, Jayesh Nair, you are there, am I right?
Yeah, hi Krishna, morning. Hi, morning everyone. My name is Jayesh Nair. I'm a global sourcing professional and consultant, mainly into global sourcing what I do. And I associated with ISM from last 7-8 years. And regularly I participate in webinars and most of the classes and all the stuff. So I just want to make sure that I'm in line with what I know so far, and also I think it's good to refresh every time what is happening in the supply chain scenario. And definitely it's a wonderful journey so far with ISM. And Krishna, thank you a lot because you are leading in front from last couple of years, and it's a really good journey for ISM in India. Thank you.
Thank you, Jayesh, for your kind words around. Again, I want to tell you, if any one of you feel that you have the specialized knowledge, we'll be very happy to provide a platform where you can transfer your knowledge, you can share the information. You're always welcome around. So that way we look forward to many ambassadors like you who want to share further. Okay, then we have...
Sure, Krishna. I mean, being said that, last year also I given advice to 2-3 guys. They joined ISM. This year also, exactly, there are 2 guys, I think, they joined for CPS.
Super. Now we are left, I think 2-3 people did. Manohar, are you there now? Manohar Patidar, I think Lokesh Khatwani, Sridhar was there. Okay, never mind. We start without Jay. So session 1 is all about procurement journey and evolution. Okay, now let me start with the quote of the day around. Because which keeps us what is all about it, First thing is change is guaranteed. All of you should take it. Change is constant, we clock around. And now when the change is constant, we have to keep pace with the change the way you think. I can't, if change is happening every year, and now each one of us being affected by COVID-19, we cannot go with the old mindset. That you have to keep in mind. In our personal life also it does change, you must have seen. So when you apply a change mindset, you also have to think of modify to solve the problem around. The problems are there. If problem was 5 years back, my solution would have been different. But if I had to find the solution today, old solution will not work. It has to keep in pace with the changes as well. So this is where I would say. Now coming back to the context of this session. Normally, if I ask somebody what is purchasing, what is procurement, broadly the definition of procurement is just buying goods and services from external sources. That definition has not changed if I go at a function level. The only thing minor you could say around in purchasing it was just to place an order, follow up. The role of purchasing has expanded. That means if I'm a procurement guy, I can question on the specs as well. I can also try to see who's the best supplier around. So my role has expanded from purchasing when I go to procurement. But the bottom line is getting the goods and services. Now, what does the change is the word in the procurement operates in? The word is changing. While the procurement definition, if I look at the book, if I look back books of 20 years back or 30 years, they used to talk of 5 R's. Right supplier, right price, right this, right quantity, but all those things around. Now, the word has changed, but the definition of the procurement still remains the same. So this is where I'm going to come back when I come to digital. But the procurement is not working in vacuum. When the word has changed, the word is becoming digital. I remember the time when I used to work in the production, we used to have normal milling machine, those who are from engineering background. Then we came with a CNC machine around. Now CNC is also becoming obsolete somewhat. They're becoming robotics around. When you think of an industry, if you're working for procurement for an industry, your company is becoming robotized, your processes are becoming changing. If you look at Amazon, the way they move packets around to robotic way, how can procurement remain the old fashioned? So we can't remain in vacuum. So driven by the digital disruption, technology is evolving faster than anything in the, I would say, history around. So procurement also has to evolve around. So what is digital transformation? I'm just giving a very simple definition, but then later on explain around. You're basically embracing the digital technologies. What are digital technology? I'll explain later. So when you are embracing the digital technology for a business or organizations, so those digital technology mean you're becoming digital transformation. And the purpose of this is very broad, to improve the productivity, identify and create the sourcing of ensuring values, streamline the business processes. What has happened if I look at the key objective if overall, today if you look at the procurement as I start to you in the beginning, there's a visibility gap. I'm placing an order with a supplier, let's say in China, and then China is buying from someone else. It's an ecosystem now. In this ecosystem, my supplier has told me that you will get the goods. But my supplier is depending on the tier 2 supplier. Tier 2 is depending on tier 3 supplier. If tier 3 stops manufacturing it, tier 2 is affected. Tier 1 is affected because I'm dealing with only tier 1. I don't know about tier 2, tier 3. So my chain gets affected. The visibility gap is there. So this is what the digital transformation is doing around is connecting the ecosystem. Now in the ecosystem, we have data, we have the knowledge. So everybody's sharing the knowledge around. If I talk of, suppose if I place an order for, let's say simple handle of a fridge. I remember the example when I used to buy in Tatas, when we were making in Voltas. I have a supplier, I have a designer, I'm a procurement guy. Today what happens is around, I get the production list guy, you have to buy 1 million handles around, okay? I try to do the market search, who can supply me? I go to the supplier. If I'm not questioning myself, I'm not listening to the supplier, it's moving in a straight line. and there's a gap. Now, if supplier comes to me, Krishna, why you are wasting time and money on making up a brass with a chrome plating? It costs you very high. If I can change the material to ABS, let's say acrylic butadiene styrene, which can be chrome plated, the production will become faster, cost will become 1/3. I listen the guy, then I go to my design people. Then I go to my production people. Then I go to my sales people. And the whole process takes me 2 months to get clearance. But if all of us are connected together, any good ideas comes around, any knowledge comes up in the ecosystem, everybody gets immediately and the result. And this is what we are calling agile system. Every information is sorted out very immediately. We have end-to-end visibility. End is not ending with one supplier, it is going to tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 also, depending on complexity. So that means you are getting basically the visibility part. That's what we're looking at. So that is the summarized way I would say this one. But then later on, I'll go into more depth on that. Procurement is, again, a lot of misconceptions around. The reason I've shown the giraffe, if any one of you do even a Google search of it or anything around, people have misconception about giraffe. Is giraffe a white color with a black strip? Or it is a black color with a white strip? So that is what the misconception is there around. Giraffe is technically, basically, if you read very detailed way, it's a black color. But the stripes are white. But majority people, some people even mix it up, they say, guys, they say. Same thing about procurement. So as we have a misconception about giraffe, same thing happens with procurement also. Misconception is procurement is not a difficult. Anybody can organize sourcing. It's a piece of cake around. Anybody, they find surplus person anywhere around, they say, guys, okay, you know a little bit about finance, guys, go. Sit down in the procurement. Because procurement has never been a profession per se. And this is a question when we normally have a training on face-to-face or any workshops around. I do ask the people, did you select procurement as your choice? I would say answer is coming up. If I go 2 decades back, majority will say, no, it was not my choice. Some way I was moved into this. But now I can see more and more people are moving into this. The percentage is growing. And this has grown particularly after e-commerce. This function has picked up a lot. And now, but some people think it's a necessary evil. Because the IT person, I went to one very good company around in Bangalore. I said, why the hell somebody has told you go to the supplier, why don't you question yourself? He said, if I start changing it, my customer will not like it. Customer is in-house. So the customer has already met the supplier. They had discussed together, the design guy has discussed, supplier is fixed. I'm a procurement guy, I just do it because then they also know procurement is required for compliance purpose. It's a necessary evil. So if you think that type of mindset is there, procurement can never grow. Procurement become a back office. It's not a service, support, control function. If the same thing happened with indirect procurement, the budget holders think this is my money, I'm placing order, you just go and do it. Even if you look at the Porter's value chain, those who are doing it, they've gone to the business school, even in your personal life, you must have studied it, Porter's value chain. This is very, normally when it comes to value chain, everybody talks of Porter's value chain. This idea was good when I went to the business school. I went in 80s in the beginning and I studied this. Procurement was just a support function. What is the value function? They can see around. Operations, marketing, all those things were there. Logistic was also coming into that. But procurement was a bad. Technology was a bad. But technology has picked up after 90s. Procurement is now the day procurement has become a key part of supply chain, it has picked up. So the whole definition of Porter value chain, I know in the business school still they teach the same thing. But to me, this has changed a lot. So if I go back to the basic definitions around, Procurement is a process of procuring and acquiring goods from external sources. What does it include? Purchase planning, sourcing, logistics, negotiation, risk management, legal, and value analysis. In purchasing, I won't be doing the risk management. I won't be doing legal. I won't be doing value analysis. I'll be just getting a source and place an order. End of it. Procurement has got a much bigger role around. And after procurement, the next step becomes supply management, where I go much more into this. Procurement involves a lot of risk assessment in order to obtain the best deal. And now we're talking of supplier relationship management. I remember in the 80s, the word was becoming very popular, CRM, customer relationship management. Marketing people thought, guys, if we have a good relation, our business can be assured. Then later on, when people thought, guys, okay, customers are assured, but how about the supplier side? For goods, I need a good supplier also. I need innovative supplier also. I need a creative supplier also. So that means supplier relationship is equally important. If supplier is not, relationship is bad, supplier may stop me at the last minute. It's a strategic item, critical item, one supplier, two supplier. If both don't behave well with me, my whole line comes to a standstill. So that's where the whole SRM concepts came around. A few terms I would like to explain around sourcing is finding and vetting the supplier. That's what the sourcing is. People say the sourcing is just to find, vet the supplier. And same sourcing, if I make long-term approach, it becomes strategic sourcing. I know these items are required on a regular basis, high value items, high risk item. Let me plan for next 2 years, 3 years. I'm working in a company like Dell. I need chips. It has to come from Intel. And I have to maintain a wonderful relationship with Intel. I have to give some defined business to them for next 4 years, 5 years. That's my strategic approach. Then there's a tactical sourcing part where I'm dealing with short-term transactional activities. So strategic sourcing is a long-term sourcing process. Tactical is this, and the operational is day-to-day basis, firefighting. So I just want to clarify a few terms before I proceed further. This one gives you operational, tactical, strategic. So strategic, now what we're trying to do is, the more we become digital, it becomes more and more strategic. And the moment it becomes strategic, your job becomes closer to the board level. You become more to the C level. If I go back 3 decades back, everything was operational. We only plan for today. Some way it was correct also. I won't say it, I won't blame it. Because the value addition, 70 to 80% was in-house. If you're working in a company like Ambassador Car or something around, 70 to 80% was in-house. Only 10% was procured from outside, mostly the low value item, a few other items. Then the change happened, I would say 2 decades back around, when they say, guy, why should I do everything? Let me specialize on few things. If somebody else can provide me more creative item, let me buy. Today, if I talk around even the auto industries, around 70% is value addition coming from outside. If my sales revenue is around $100 billion, $70 billion I'm spending outside. And who spends it? You people are spending it. Procurement people are spending it. Supply chain people are spending it. So when you are doing the spend 70% of the whole volume, and if you are the CEO of a company, I think it's a very basic common sense. If saving has to come, not from the 30%, it has to come from 70%. If I have to become competitive, it has to come from supply chain and procurement. So when I talk of supply chain as a whole, procurement is still the major chunk of it. So that way it becomes a very powerful position. I think this is what the mindset is changing now. Procurement and supply chain is becoming a very powerful profession. So this is what it used to be the good old days. The poor guys going step by step, all the ones, claims are there, orders are there, emails, meetings, phone calls. They were doing firefighting. I've seen the time when procurement people are the one who are working longer hours. They will be the last one to leave the office. Even when they're leaving office, somebody will call them, oh, what happened to this item around? The guy has to sit back and work. That means they were all the time under firefighting modes. So that means if you are having a firefighting mode, any one of you, you think that, guys, we are also in the same situation. Every day we have a firefighting. We don't get a peace of mind. We are not able to think further. That means there's a certain need to become strategic. And next would be the digital part. So this is where I thought, let me touch. The very typical traditional procurement cycle, if I look around, define the needs, develop the contract terms, source the market, appraise, all of you know it, so I will just go quickly. Award the contract, identify the needs. And same thing I've explained a little bigger way. So it has got spend analysis. The moment the procurement from basic, it became little more strategic. Then you have strategic sourcing tool around. You have a contract management, you have a requisitioning, you have a spot buying, P2P, and then payments. And then each one is supported by further actions around. So very traditional procurement, strategic procurement, so that's the way it is around. Now, these things have come up in the last, I would say, in India, 2 decades back. Now, in the good old days, we used to have only purchasing. Now we have a strategic team, we have a procurement team, and some company, I know they have a separate vendor management team also. So the 3 pillars around. The strategic team is only looking into strategic items, making long-term arrangement, finding good suppliers. The strategic team. Then there's a procurement team whose job is, when the need comes, we place an order. We ensure compliance with strategy. Then we have vendor management team, because vendors are becoming important to us. Like for sales people, customers are important for us to manage the vendors. If vendor doesn't have the right capacity, can I help them to build their capacity? Now today we are talking from globalization to localization and regionalization. So as a part of my regionalization, I may have to build my local vendor. I may have to manage it. I have to help him. So that's the way it is going on. So 3 pillars around, depending on the size of the company and complexity. Strategic, procurement. So one could become source to contract, S to C. One could become P2P. And the third could be SRM, SPM, whatever you may call it. Performance management, relationship management, everything. So this gives you a little bit the process house, very process oriented. I think, skip it, keeping in mind the time part. But this is there with you. If you have any questions, you're welcome to call me anytime around. So traditional one, again, I've shown you the cycle. Same thing is here. I get the purchase request, purchase order, but then there's a sourcing to support me. Then I do the fulfill and then the payments. But they're all linear paths. So sourcing, somebody else is doing, purchase is somebody doing, fulfilling is somebody else, payment is done by somebody else. I remember the time, I'm sure you must be having still with you, we had 200 country offices around in the UN when I was the director for them. So whenever I went around, there used to be a problem of payments, always around. And I used to ask my accounts people, what is the problem around? So we haven't got this, we haven't got this. All papers were given to them, but not me. Then we had ERP, and I was involved in implementing ERP worldwide for the whole UN family. We spent around $70 million that time. So 3-way match, I said, no, what do you need with accounts? Can't we do 3-way match online? If I'm the requisitioner, I say goods are okay, purchase order is there, invoice is there, all are matching. What is the next role left over? I know we lost some jobs in the process. I feel bad for it, but the process became faster. So if you look at the whole chain of value in traditional procurement, even in strategic procurement, still the focus is on price, price, price. We are not looking at the other parameters much around. So I would say still the focus when I look at up to procurement 2.0, procurement 1.0 is my traditional. Procurement 2.0 is, I could say, some places strategic. Then procurement 2 at least, I would say the price is the focus around. The importance part, I think I've already clarified. Average company spends 40 to 70% of the revenue on purchases from third parties. And procurement can drive 5 to 12% saving. Now, question all the time come, if I'm using the same supplier for the last 5 years, product does not change, I'm expecting 10% saving every time, which is impossible. Until the guy has already inflated the price upfront, double or triple, then yes. If the guy has not kept any inflation, and you are trying to expect, the management expects you to cut down 5%, 10% every year from the same supplier, I think it's little impractical until you change the design part, you change the modality part, you change the raw material part, whatever you change. So you need to bring creativity. Otherwise you can't. So yesterday's market were best described with 60 to 80% in-house value add. So we were doing in-house value add. Today it has changed. That 60 to 80% has gone out. What is left in-house is 20%. And if you're working with a company like Apple, even not 20%, everything is out, except the salary of the people. So I would say 90% is out. The only thing is the salary part is left inside, the rest is all out. So when we're looking at this type of mindset, so there is a shift in basic mindset as well. So that's what we need around. Key tenets of the procurement, I would say, supply is the forefront of the companies around. This is what we need to market, not for our own personal interest. I think it is important. If the top company, chief CEOs of the companies and CFOs of the company understand that supply is the forefront, then they will give importance to procurement as well. Slim and extend the supply risk around, managing the risk around. I would say another thing also, that you are the CFO of the supply chain. Why I'm saying the supply chain? Because supply chain has got broad 3 or 4 functions. One is the planning part. Second is the supply part, the procurement part. The next is make part. The make part is shrunk. And then is the logistics part. So logistics may be 10 to 12%. Procurement is still the major chunk. So if I talk of Maruti supply chain, so the planning part, procurement part is 70%. Logistics may be 8 or 10%. The rest is salary of the people and the make part around. So I would say procurement people are the CFOs of the supply chain. Your mindset has to become a little more finance oriented. I know presently we only talk of cost reduction, cost avoidance. Fine, it's important, I'm not questioning it. But we have to think also, how can I help the company to improve my top line? The bottom line I'm helping, but the top line of the company, can I help? I would say, yes, you can. If you are able to bring a creative product, let's say again the example of BMW, it happened around. The guy who came, he said, guys, change the lamps to digital lamp. It's a small lamp which doesn't occupy much power. The sale went up. The headlamps and all this thing, the technology can change. So few things if you change around, few ideas you bring around, and those ideas come from outside in, not from inside out. When I started my careers around, it was inside out. My designers will give me design for everything, even for the dashboard. Then I'll go and find something. Today I'll go outside and say, guy, I want a dashboard for this. This is the look we are looking around. Supplier will come with the design. So it is outside in. Now question comes, when we are getting into outside in, 70 to 80% is from outside, knowledge is coming inside. Now, is my technology capable for that? I would say, Jilt, no. ERP was wonderful when it was inside out. Since I have implemented ERP in 2005, and now today when I look around, sometimes I feel it's a dinosaur. I know we have a consultant from Oracle and Deloitte in the team around. I know it was all wonderful when we were trying to do 70% in-house and I wanted to comprehend everything. I want to have an enterprise system. Nothing should get out. All should speak the same words. Fine, great. But now when I want outside people to give me the inputs, outside people to give me information, I want ecosystem to be connected, then there's a problem. So now how do I connect different systems together? I have to go to the clouds then. So that's the way the whole mindset is changing around. So now the next come to take the initiative with the percentage and power. So digital transformation, which I gave example, I gave it to you, I think is bringing a radical shift of disruption. The key pillars of excellence. I think all of you should remember those who are still in the procurement part, traditional or strategic procurement, whatever. Spend analysis, strategic sourcing, keeping in mind the long-term relationship, contract management, and supply. So these are the 4 pillars. And the only difference which has happened now in the last few years is strategic sourcing has been taken over by category. So strategic sourcing, I was dealing with one item, say one plastic item, another critical item, fine. But in a category, I put all the items together. Let's say we 3 of us friends are there. I'm buying from the same supplier. My colleague is also buying from the same supplier. And items can be put together as a one category. So category means I get much buying power. Better buying power means I can negotiate better. So that change has happened around. Otherwise, broadly, these are the 4 pillars around. Now the scorecards, if I say supply assurance, same ratios, price reduction. I mean, I would say in the past, that was a key focus. Reduce price, reduce price. Now, if you look back in the time to come, and when we get total digital process, price reduction is not the major part. The value addition is the major part. 19% is coming up. So I'm sure after some years, value will become much more important. So this is the way. So the trend is happening around the good old days of 90s, beginning 80s, price, price, price. Then came the 95 when we talked about cost management. So the cost management became total cost of ownership. I will also look at it a little bit the finance side. What are the costing of it? What are the raw material costs? What is this cost? What are the guys charging me? How much is the margins around? So that started focusing around. And that's the time many people with finance background moved into procurement also. Then came the strategic source. Guys, why the hell I'm going every year asking the quotation? If I know this item I need regularly, why can't I build relationship? Why can't I negotiate for next 3-4 years? I may not fix the price, but I can say the price can be reviewed every 6 months. That's if I'm buying crude oil. I make a strategic arrangements, but I may review the price after linking with someone. I'm buying brass, I'm buying copper, I'm buying steel, I'm buying coal. And I know this is the place I buy. I make a long-term arrangement, commitment to them. Then I tell them, guys, this is the price. If the market price goes like this, you will have to pay me minus 10% on that. So strategic. As I said to you, from strategic, it has moved to the category. Strategic was very, again, item oriented. But if the items can be combined together, it becomes a category. However, some companies went even one step further around. Particularly the auto industry, they took a lead around. If I've got 100 suppliers in the auto industry, and all of them are using CR sheet. If all of them are using CR sheet and they are all buying, somebody has a volume of 200 tons, somebody has 100 tons, somebody has 50 tons. Since ultimately the product is being bought by me in a big company, like a mother company. If I tell all of them, guys, don't worry, you tell me your requirements, I will negotiate on your behalf. If instead of a small company with 100 tons negotiating, I'll say, guys, 100 plus 200 plus 500, I'll negotiate for 800 tons. And I get a better deal. And that price which my supplier gets it, ultimately I get the benefit of it. That's what we're talking about category. Then the next question is coming the value part. The value could be in many ways. Value could be in terms of product finish. Value could be in terms of qualities around. Value could be in terms of if my lead time goes down. Naturally, when the lead time goes down, and today having a supplier from a remote place, today I find now the supplier nearby, my lead time goes down, my inventory level goes down, my work in progress goes down, I've added the value the other way around. My chances of disruptions are less. So this is where the focus is moving into this. And value management means when we're getting into this, and shortly we are moving into digital world. Because if I'm not in a digital world, difficult to manage the day-to-day changes around. We need to be connected. Connected in terms of knowledge, connected in terms of data. So data is becoming my intelligence. And intelligence is helping me to get the value part of it. So this is where I can skip this idea was that just to tell you that procurement is again a part of the whole supply chain. I know many companies supply chain, they think it's only transportation. The way we look at it, supply chain means it's bigger. I remember the time when I went to the business school, supply chain was a chapter in the field of operation management. It was MBA in operation, but today not so. So those of you who are very conversant in supply chain, operation is part of it. And if you're working with a company like Apple, everything is supply chain. So in short, supply chain is becoming the key thing around. I remember the days when outsourcing was going around very fast. Somebody came with the word is flat, very popular book around. Now people are saying word is supply chain. And procurement is a key component of supply chain. Keep in mind that also. So wherever in your company, if you feel you are segregated from supply chain, and the very first thing I would say, integrate together. Get the silos out. Be part of one bigger chain. Then your voice will be heard. So I would say the word is supply chain. Company is also supply chain. If 70–80% I spend on supply chain, and procurement is a major component of supply chain. Keep that factor in mind. So this is just to touch the scene. I can skip this. Now, procurement one was very basic, traditional, good old days, typing the purchase orders. Whether on a computer or on a typewriter, it was all on paper. So when we became strategic, I think it was later. So that's the time we had ERP. So ERP helped us to become procurement 2.0. I'll explain a little more later on this. So I can move this. This is just to clarify those people who still don't understand the difference between category and strategic sourcing. Category management is a bigger thing. If you look at this category team tools, the strategic sourcing is one of the tools for them. Demand management is one of the tools for them. Supplier management is a tool for them. Contract management is a tool. So you must say, guys, everything is falling under category team. So in short, if I would have to rightly say, each category manager is more like a CEO of his own category. If I'm dealing with office supply, I'm the boss of that. End to end. IT category, I'm the boss of that. Consulting team, I'm hiring consulting people around. Again, I'm the boss. So category management is becoming the critical nowadays. I know still I would say procurement people are, except e-commerce business, they are gone into the category business. But many companies are still working without category. They have just moved to strategic sourcing, not the category. I think you could take one step further. Okay, guys, then this is the power of cross-functional team. Procurement cannot be expert in everything. Keep this factor in mind. I think it's a wonderful depiction here around. Procurement alone cannot do everything. It's a cross-functional. If you work around, you have sourcing managers, cross-functional teams. Cross-function could be with engineering, the people who design it. It could be with production. So cross-functional team can bring together much better saving than individually doing it. So this gives you a very good ideas around how much percentage if you work alone. If you work as a totality, if you see the last line, engineering can contribute 20%, commodity and manager skills can 30%, then the 45% is cross-functional collaboration. Success is all about working together. So it's not working in silos. If you look at a supply chain, the more concept of supply chain to integrate everybody around. Not the two people say, I've done my job. Other one says, I've done my job. The third guy is struggling around. Ultimately, the whole company is suffering. So we need to work as a team. That's what it means. So this whole thing has changed the face of procurement. So procurement has come a long way from reactive functions to a strategic partner. And then the focus is cost saving center to growth partners. We are appropriate to call. And the last is efficiency and effectiveness. So with this, friends, I think let me see if anything else around. We have some poll questions. So I'll expect that you can answer it. There's no right or wrong answer, but I just want to know what is correct. Okay, guys, the very first one, you got it? Okay, I don't see any changes happening. Okay, let's finish the poll part, then I can summarize it here. Okay, now let's share the results around for the first and second. The very first one, I would say majority said the mix of all above. Some have said still tactical, strategic is only one. This shows we are still in a mixed zone around. What are the key pillars of the procurement excellence? I know some of you guys have gone to strategic sourcing. Some have got all of them. Great. Is category management part of the strategic sourcing? Yes, very correct. Or no, I don't know. It's other way around. Only one has given the right answers around. Category is the mother. Strategic sourcing is a part of it. Strategic sourcing is a tool for sourcing. Here your category managing the category. So keep in mind, strategic sourcing is part of the category. So when you see the chart on the evolution part, after strategic sourcing, we move to category one. So it's the next step around. So what is the share of procurement spend? I would say it is, some have got between 50 to 70. I could say those I'm sure must be manufacturing companies. And those between 20 and 50. So there are two groups around. So maybe 20 and 50, maybe service industries. So that's a way I think which reflects very correctly. So even if you are in a pharma company also around 60, auto companies around 70. That's a way around. That shows you have the big purse in your hand. And if the management has to understand the saving, you are the one who can control it. Well, friend, any question before I move to the next session? Any questions so far? Or is it clear to everybody? Can I move to the second session? Any questions around? Or anything you feel not clear? No worries.
Yeah, Mr. Batra.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So very valuable inputs so far, and the importance of cross-functional team was really, worth understanding. The only difference most of the time, see, we are now completely into strategic sourcing. In
Yeah.
the sense, our function is completely a matured function, and we are into a strategic level. We always try to align the business strategies with the supply chain strategies. Many a times the question comes, probably since last many years we are into strategic sourcing.
Yeah.
What's the exact difference between tactical and strategic? Because so far I have not been, maybe we are doing some transactional things, and that's the reason I'm considering tactical as a transactional or vice versa. Are all transactional activities that we are managing are being called as tactical sourcing?
Very right. Anything which is transactional based.
Okay.
The two part around. One, basically I can divide into 4 parts. If you look at the real model of Peter Krasik model, 4 boxes, 2x2 matrix. One is purely critical items, strategic items. If any one of them fails, it disrupts my whole chain.
Absolutely.
And those which are going to disrupt me, I want to certainly do a long-term relationship and strategic way. As I told you, Dell. Without chip, nobody will buy Dell if it's not an Intel chip. So those type of supply which are very critical, I need to do long-term relationship with them, understand the costing of them. If needed, I may change the price. So it's a different type of relationship, more of a partnership type. Then there are others around. I've got multiple choices. And if multiple choices are there, why should I hang myself permanently with one company? Then I'm basically moving away from the what you call innovation of the market. So if I'm having multiple choice, I want to do e-auction every time, every 3 months, 6 months. So there I will not, I will not really get into strategic that way around. I could keep them in tactical.
Okay.
So that's the way I would around. I won't say the answer is strategic for everything. Strategic should cover your 60-70% the key items.
Correct.
Yeah, that's the way I look at it. So I won't say we become 100% strategic. I make a relationship with one company in China, other place around, and then I find that company is closed. I'm in trouble then.
Yes.
You need to give a good balance around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Clear.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Good. Anyone else before I move to the next then? Okay. If nothing else, then let's move to the digital world now. So we guys go to the next. Session 2 is all about understanding the concepts of digital procurement. So far it was all journey from what the whole procurement purchasing has gone through. So let's try to understand the digital concepts around. The critical attributes of the world-class, or when we say best-in-class procurement organizations, are 2 things. Speed. Why I'm saying speed? I've seen the company, big companies. Since I travel a lot, I meet many people around. To clear the requisitions until making a purchase order, it could take easily 40-50 days. Many companies, big companies also. That is not a speed. So speed is, when we say somebody is a best class, world-class companies around, speed has to be there. Second, agility. We were doing consulting work with some company in Pune long back. Agility was not there. They were all the time working on lean process around. They got 200 SKUs. Everything they were maintaining as per the demand, fine, lean basis. And by the time customer, 1 or 2 customers, last minute they say, guys, sorry guys, I cannot buy this much because I don't have funds, I have a cash problem, I have this problem or that problem. What a problem is that? My CEO has left, so my business has gone down. Now that market has shrunk, and by the time you get information and procurement, it's too late. So you want to be connected. You want to be agile. You want to be flexible. I will not wait for anybody's instruction. I know in the market, one of the key customers has left us, has become bankrupt. So that is going to affect my business. And as a procurement guy, I'll stop my supplier, hold on, don't buy, don't supply me. So that agility is required. I don't want to build up my inventories around. So these are the two parameters around. And these two parameters cannot come without digital. Keep this factor in mind. You might be strategic, you might be whatever you call it. But until you have a speed and agility, speed comes when there's a visibility around. I can see end to end. I'm not sitting in a silo. Somebody gives me instruction, then I move further. So I need digital visibility, sir. I need a connected system. I need a tower concepts around. So that's what we are looking at. So this is where I think you will get some ideas around. Those of you who started in, I know none of you would be there. I remember the timing. I come from IIT, then I joined my Voltas. We were having MRPs. Material Requirement Planning 1, MRP 2. And I can speak confidently, each one of them, because I've gone through the whole journey. MRP 1, MRP 2, based on that, we'll make our own requisition. We say, guys, procurement guys, you have to buy this, this, this. Bill of material used to be there. End of it. There were a lot of repetitions in that. That means they were very labor-intensive processes. ERP came. I would say majority companies, I would say after 2000, 95, 96, it started moving around, but like we went into the ERP 2005, it was on the top. And I will not mince my word, I would say it was a wonderful tool at that time to connect the whole organizations. Sales, HR, procurement, finance, all enterprise-wise connected. If any information is available to me in the past, I just write the name, the whole name comes up. Whole complete information comes up. I don't have to type each line by line. So labor-intensive work, which was in 70s till 90s, stopped. So MRP2 became ERP. So remove the word M and became E. Enterprise Resource Planning. MRP2 also was like that. MRP1 was Material Requirement Planning. MRP2 was, again, it's a requisition front. That means same like resource planning. So it was governing much more, labor, this, that, everything around. Now ERP2 did many good things around, connected the whole things, but we were still in silos. So we moved from procurement 1.0 to procurement 2.0. Then in ERP, some people moved into strategic sourcing. But this was wonderfully doing well till it was inside out. Till everything is made in-house, the contribution of outside is very small percentage. ERP did a wonderful job. Then the problem came around, guys, I'm doing ERP, but the bidding I have to do outside, evaluation I have to do outside. I know IT people used to tell me even that time, even till today, sir, everything can be done in ERP also. But ERP is all to protect your system also. You will not allow every Tom and Harry company, I had 20,000 companies. Each company can chip into my ERP system. No. I need a security of my system. And implement ERP is an elephant. Any changes into this takes enormous time and cost. Then we came with the e-procurement. So listen to me on this correctly around ERP. So those who are already in this consulting business, I would like to also know their viewpoints also. So ERP is a wonderful tool. Don't misunderstand me that. To do enterprise connection. Works very well when it is inside out. But if it's coming outside, 80% I'm depending outside. I'm depending 100% from outside inputs. Even they are assembling for me and then I'm only doing the selling. I need all the ideas and knowledge from outside in. And I also need data of them inside. So we have e-procurement. So e-procurement came this concept like source to contract, P2P, contract management, all those e-procurement. Electronic, using internet. And the ERP also became later on here real-time basis. But e-procurement was totally electronic. The word E stands for electronic, using internet. And that's the one can sit outside, can be connected with my ERP internally, but then I can connect that system with everybody. And e-procurement I can have through clouds. Because if my ERP is based on my own servers, I know we used to have our own servers. Later on we thought, guys, why the hell we are wasting time having so many people, IT people, and IT is not our business. Let's outsource it. So now I know many people are moving into the cloud system. So then came e-procurement. So e-procurement is your procurement 3.0. You can move from MRP 1, which is traditional procurement 1.0, procurement 2.0, e-procurement, procurement 3.0, and digital. And digital, the one we are calling is smart. The mobile phone, you say smart. That is in line with Industry 4.0. So if anything is matching with Industry 4.0, we call procurement 4.0. Maybe in few years to come, it may be procurement 5.0, who knows? But as on today, we're talking of digital procurement. When we talk of digital, we're talking of technically procurement 4.0. So in some people call smart procurement, some people call digital procurement. That's the way it is. I hope this is clear to everyone around. Any questions on this before I go further? Everybody clear? Okay. Now let me go further on this. The key pains of digitalization. So those of the consultant I know who are working for ERP, please excuse me when I say this because I have been myself a consultant of implementing it. So ERP does not address all the procurement pains. In the good old days, KPIs were very few. But today, I know someone wants to say something. Please unmute yourself. No issue.
Yes, Mr. Roshan, I have a quick question.
Yeah, Roshan, go ahead. Yes, Roshan, please.
Can you hear me now?
No, not very clear.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was away from mic. Can you hear me now? Is it better?
Yes, now better, much better.
All right. So before moving on to the topic digital procurement, I just want to have a quick question. So my question was, so if you, I can give you an example if I want to talk about the e-procurement, which is Ariba, SAP Ariba, right? So can you give me a quick example of digital procurement tool? Do we have anything like similar to blockchain technology? Because I don't think most of the, many companies are now used to blockchain, but I just want to know more about the digital procurement tools. If in case you can just name it.
A lot. One is obviously 3D printing. We have then this one we call artificial intelligence, machine learning. So we have RPA. So those are the ones.
Okay, like the bots which will do the stuffs, right?
Oh, certainly, you rightly said.
All right,
bots,
thank you.
Even we are using even a small setup. We are using bots. I'm sure many of you are using it around. I'll quote you the example of some companies in India who are. I'll quote it.
All right, thank you, thank you.
Super.
Thank you. Yeah.
Great. Thanks again for interruption. I think I want more and more on this subject because this is the key now. KPIs have increased. Now people want the KPIs, compliance rate, they want SRM, they want return on investment. So in short, everything need a visibility of spend. And the spend part, again, I would put it very clearly. Spend data, visibility comes spend. Visibility is one part, but the spend data quality is poor. So those who are in the consulting business, since I have done myself, UNSPSC is my baby. I developed from scratch. It was my baby when I started it in 80s and I launched it. And now I know it is used by Oracle, used by SAP. Everybody uses it around. And I've done the same project for Government of India. Government of India spends around $500 billion on public procurement. But data quality is damn poor. The guy sitting in UP writes in English, but the words are in Hindi. The guy in Tamil Nadu writes it his own way. So if I want to combine the data of all of them together, very difficult to make sense of it. So we need certainly right terminologies, we need taxonomies for that. So which I know I would say every company, if you're moving into digital, first clean your spend part. Keep in mind, data, data, data. Data is the starting point of digitalization. You may digitalize it, but you won't get intelligence out of it until you have the right data. You want intelligence, artificial intelligence to work. What artificial intelligence will do if the data is not correct? Machine learning, algorithmic formula I made, it can't work until the data is correct. So keep in mind, the data quality is very, very important. The data coding is very important around. So this is what we did recently, a project for Government of India to do this visibility coding part around. Now, procurement versus e-procurement. Now here you understood around, we had ERP, you all know very well, I don't have to spend time on that. E-procurement is the next step around. So the key pain you have in ERP, if I'm a finance guy, to be honest, I'm very happy with ERP. But if I'm a procurement guy, I have all the pains. Let me be honest with this. If I'm a finance guy, I'll say, guys, oh, it's a wonderful thing. Because every information is there for them. But for the procurement guy who's depending 80% from outside, and those systems are not connected, ecosystem is not connected, tier 2 suppliers are not connected, because I'm worried about my system privacy. So somebody may hack it. So that means there is a big issue around. So e-procurement is the next evolution of the procurement as a whole. So from the traditional procurement, from ERP, the next is e-procurement. And I have heard, I'm sure those who are in this business of consulting, every time consultant used to tell me, all big name I can talk around. I said, don't worry, you want this, we'll get it done. I know they can do it. In computer words, there's no word like no. The question is the cost. The question is the flexibility. So this is where I love these apps around. So we have e-procurement, electronic system, which uses internet. They're very easy. They're available through the clouds. Cost is less, return of investment, you can work it out. So I can have e-procurement for, to begin with, you should have source to contract or source to pay. So my request to you will be, who don't have it, I think you should start exploring the possibility of using source to pay. Make it end to end. And now e-invoicing is allowed, you know it. 2 years back in India, it was not allowed, there was a legal issues. But now e-invoicing is allowed. And we do it very oftenly with Accentures and others. E-invoicing is going on. So if you can have source to pay, it becomes one path. So procurement is a past and e-procurement is a future. So far with ERP, it was all procurement. And now we're talking of e-procurements around. So that's what we have to move. And soon, those who have not done, who are already in e-procurement, they can move into digital world. Look at this, the beauty of this. You have ERPs, and I'm sure many of you will vouch, still a lot of paperwork around. The bidding is done, papers are there, files are there. You better ask me because I have dealt with 200 country office as a chairman. So I used to see around a bunch of papers. So e-procurement means everything is there. Then some of you may think e-procurement is removing the paper. It's already digital, but visibility is not there. It is still not connected to ecosystem. That's why we're talking digital world. E-procurement has done a wonderful thing. It's cut down the time. Transparency is there. I can see online sitting what happened to the payments now. Audit friendly. Spend analysis is better, I would say, which in ERP was a little tricky, but in this one I can do better. E-sourcing I can do separately. So all my bids can come under the e-sourcing. In ERP, I have a difficulty if I got 300 pages bid offer coming around. Where do I keep it? But in e-sourcing, I can have in a separate system. It will not disturb my system privacies around. So this is where the e-procurement helps you. So the next thing in e-procurement which is missing is, it is still within the organization and with the supplier. But if I want to complete the whole ecosystem, my goods are coming from US. There's a transportation involved around. So from one company to another company, custom, this, that, the whole I want transparencies around, I cannot get in this. So this is where the digital system helps you. Okay, guys, then source to pay. Let's say, what are the gaps around? I'm talking again e-procurement, S2P. Now, visibility gap is there. If the key thing I've put in a bold, 65% of the company have no visibility beyond tier 1. And I can vouch on it that all of you, your visibility, I'll be very happy to know if somebody has visibility beyond tier 1 supplier. I'm your tier 1 supplier. I'm also outsourcing to someone. And in that situations, you miss it. So 65% of the companies around have no visibility beyond tier 1 supplier. Payment processing gap. Still, many of the companies around, the payment and the process are separate function. It requires manual reconciliation. I would say in India, still only 5% or maybe even 3% who are doing electronic reconciliation. It is still manual reconciliation. We may talk of three-way matching, we may talk of anything. Manual reconciliation is still there between the invoice, between the purchase orders, and between the receipt. And exposing expensive invoice and fraud vulnerability. Now, can these things be done by artificial intelligence? So last mile gap is also there. The last mile, the networks and systems are not connected. So you don't have a holistic view. You only have the view of your own company. Maybe the key supplier maximum. So when you go for source to pay is your e-tool, e-procurement, but the gaps are still there. And these gaps can be removed with the help of digital procurement. So that's how we look at it. Now we're talking of a digital era. I wouldn't have said had this COVID-19 not come. Now everybody is talking of in COVID-19 that we have to move into this direction. In the past, people talked about this digital currencies, even Bitcoin, all those things around. But it never moved much. But now I think things are moving. Even the Supreme Court said, why are we stopping this digital currencies around, the Bitcoin? I know the still discussion is going on, but in principle, this is why we need digital currency also. So that means everybody is moving into digital world. Look around, our training is becoming digital now in one way. Court cases are being held also in a digital way. Don't you think the mindset has changed overnight? If somebody has a case in Supreme Court, High Court, are still being done, few of them, on a digital basis, on a virtual basis. Our mindset has become, even mine, even after staying in so many years in the US, I still think of buying personally. Even at my age, I've become digital. I would love to buy online. So our mindsets are changing. So to meet this new expectation, procurement organization must transform their legacy process. So it's a question of survival now. So we have to change the legacy process around practices, structures, and align them with the current needs of the enterprise. So digital transformation, I think I can skip this. No, only one word I can say. Many of you think it's a big cost. Some people think it's a sinkhole. Nothing wrong. I've seen people spending money in 90s, 2000s. Many people spend money on technologies who were successful were only 10%. Everybody didn't get the return of investments. So keep in mind, digital transformation is a wonderful thing, but the key thing comes up, simple technology is not the solution. You need the right people. You need the right support from the top. If my top management is not willing to support me, my peers in other departments are not supporting me, my people are not trained, it cannot. Then it could become a sinkhole. I was having a risk on my job around when we implemented ERP. I was the lead for procurement, a budget of $75 million covering 200 country offices in 2005. Initially, we used to hear everybody saying, sir, we don't know who's buying at what price, this, that. Can we do something? Okay, we came with ERP. And after ERP, to really make it big bang selection, okay, it took us another 3 months to train them. I went around personally to 89 countries, which was good for personally for me to meet the people around. But you can imagine how much price the company must have paid for it. Training, training, training. We all love to talk big things, but we are all complacent personally. Till it is not affecting my job, I love to talk about digital. But the day I find digital is going to affect my job, then I start finding my faults in the system. Oh, this will have this problem, this will have this problem, this will have this problem. And that's the way you have to become straight to them, guys. This is the way to do, tell me what is the problem. The role of each one has to be restructured. Old structure cannot work. I had same people around, we had 2,000 people working on procurement activities worldwide. Old structures, how can it work? If I come with an ERP, I need to do a new system, new organization structure around. So if I want to move into digital, I have to bring a new structure also. I have to train the people around. So if you've not done the homework like that, then I would say digital transformation could be a sinkhole. So those of you who want to get into this, I know there's no choice. Let me be also very clear. There's no option in the time to come. If India wants to be the supply chain center, nerve center, if we want to bring more and more into export business, we want to bring company from abroad to India, naturally the India will become a supply love center. Then there's no choice. So we have to learn in a hard way or whichever way, people have to be trained for that. So the digital procurement, if I talk around, is about transformation. It's a big transformation. ERP was not that big around, but this one is certainly a big way. So here I would expect a phased manner approach around. Because if I'm a consultant and I'm not able to show the results, ROI, I'll be questioned. I had same thing with my job. I would have lost my job had the results not come. So this is where giving idea is very good. Sometime nowadays and later on, we made a concept around whenever we used to hire sometime consulting company and say, if you go with this, you will save 10%. Then I'll tell them, guys, we'll pay you only 10% once the job is successful. If job is not successful, we'll not pay you 10% also. We'll not pay you anything. So that type of mindset came around. So people are very scary about when the failure were too many in the past. But now I think people are getting confident. Okay, Roshan, you want to ask a question? Go ahead, please. I'm happy.
Yes, Kishan. So I want to add a few things here, and I would like to know your view on my comment. Okay. So though digital transformation is going to save a lot of time, cost, efforts, and labor, and also it's going to add more value, right? I understand that. But what I fear is maybe in near future, digital transformation will lead to massive job cuts, right? Only people who are in strategic roles would sustain, right? So how do you see this?
I think you rightly said around. I mean, ultimately, if I had to go other extreme around, the purpose of digital is to make it autonomous. So that cuts down most of the job. Am I right, Roshan?
Yes.
That goes the other extreme around. But I still feel, I know many people have moved into this, particularly because my family members are working in Apple in the US. So I know in senior level around, they have used AI, they used other things around. I think jobs have become much more important around there. If I'm dealing with AI cannot do alone anything. It has to be supported all the time. The only thing you are right that some job which are the lower level, they will shrink. I won't say go away. The job profile will become more powerful. You will become more closer to the board. So the job will be more at the senior level around. If I'm doing robotic process automation, in some companies they have already started using India also, RPA, the level has to be changed of RPA. What level, the definition, the terminologies, whatever Myers, at what Myers RPA will work, human elements are required, but human elements much with a higher knowledge and higher data and so training around. That's the way. I agree with you, the total number will certainly go down, but the profile will go bigger, importance will go bigger. I would say the salaries they will get will be much higher around. They'll be really at the board level. So
I guess, yeah, so adding to it, so I guess then all the professionals in procurement would want to see themselves, improving in technology. Maybe they need to do some certifications, upgrade themselves, and make sure they sustain. That's the only way I think maybe in future.
There's no shortcut. I can tell you my own. When I learned I was in Jamnalal Bajaj Institute, Bombay University, studying my computer courses. In those days, evening courses I used to go. I was in Tata's. And I was learning Fortran. I was learning this one, COBOL. Can you imagine after 5 years, 6 years, nobody will hire me with that language around. So you have to upgrade. I think it is now, in the good old days, it was fine. But nowadays, the speed is so fast. If you don't learn, unlearning is very important and relearning is very important. So you might have learned something in the college 5 years back. After 5 years, better change it. So you have to mature yourself with the new thinking around. That's what is there. Anyway, I'll come back more on these issues around. So importance part, I would say digital is giving you insights. So this gives you very good insights around and spend and how procurement interacts. Spend part, but please, again on the spend when it comes to you, codify your spend. I'm not saying that everybody has to use UNSPSC. You can have your own coding system, but please, you have a taxonomy, so everybody uses the same language. How procurement interacts and serves its stakeholders. So this is where I look around into a vehicle that not only manages the cost certainly will be saved, unleashes the potential of supply base and market to signify improved business performance. That's the way I do it. Now this is where the little bit role of procurement leaders, historic role, I know many of us still fall into that. Cost cutter, transaction focused, spreadsheet. I've seen a very big company as a consultant I work, I was surprised. It was an IT company and they were using the spreadsheet. I said, why the hell you guys are doing spreadsheet? Nothing is wrong with spreadsheet, depending on the volume. Again, if volume is so small, why should they go into the other system? Back-end sellers, firefighters. This is what I would say the characteristics of existing procurement functions, many of them. The future would be the guys, these are the people who will be controlling at the board level, revenue generators, strategy focused, data hub, value chain facilitators, strategic sourcing, third-party risk, and innovation lead. This is what's happening around, and this I'm telling you with my personal experience because my own family member is working with Apple. And when I talk to them, their supply, he's a PhD. When they talk of supply chain, they talk of how can I bring innovation in the watches? How can I bring revenue to the companies around? And they are consulted by the big bosses around. So that's a role is totally changing away. Okay, guys, let me go further on this. Now here I want to clarify. Now when we talk of digitalization and transformation. Digitization is a very simple thing people have been doing with ERP also. I'm not saying it is a today's word. I remember the time when we used to have invoices on hand, copies, whatever maybe. Then somebody in the accounts, I was in Philippines a few months, last year also. So one of the office I was visiting around, one guy with a qualified graduate, college graduate, sitting outside the finance. I said, what are you doing with a pile of bunch? Morning till evening for the last 3 months, he was scanning every paper. He said, I'm digitizing everything. The word looks very good. If he goes and tells his family, I'm digitizing the office, the family will think he's doing a wonderful job. What is the job? Take the paper, scan it, store it. Scan, store, scan, store. That is digitizing. You are converting analog to digital. But now we are talking of digitalization where every information goes straight with digital. My offer comes online. My purchase orders comes online. My invoice comes online. My comparison is online. So that's where we are moving into the e-procurement part. So some places e-procurement has done digitalization. I won't say not. The only problem with that digitalization is not end-to-end, not connected. Visibility is a problem. It is not connected more than tier 1 supplier. So digitalization is a process of adopting digital ways. All documentation goes, no paperwork. But the question is the transformation. I've done in my own procurement, but the finance guys have not changed. I want the complete transformation end-to-end, E to E. That's the way we call it, digital transformation. So keep in mind, digitization is nothing but converting analog, like you and me had old pictures at home. So I say, let me stock it. I convert those pictures by scanning it. It becomes digital. But that is digitized. But nowadays, when you and me go and get the picture and we tell the photographer, send me the picture, that is digitalized. It's coming by process. But if my whole process of transformation is there, the business process is there, then I call a digital transformation. So I didn't say the word, if you see, digital procurement is one thing, but one is digital transformation. The moment I use the word transformation means I'm talking of end-to-end system is complete digitalized. I hope this makes clear to you. This gives you some ideas around digitization is a conversion, digitalization is a process, and digitalization transformation is the effect and impact of digital on the particular area. So it's covered the whole function as a whole. Okay, guys. This one I can skip it now. This is where it's happening around. S2C will remain. I'm not questioning those who bought source to contract, P2Ps, SM, supplier management. Now, if I make it in the digital part, then they become predictive. S2C can do prediction itself based on the data. P2P could become automated. This is where when Roshan was saying about the job, then P2P could become automated. Supplier have been fixed. I'm only compliance. The requisition comes, system can find for this requisition who is the potential supplier and who could become. Even I can say to one example, I can tell you which one organization has done in the US. It's my previous organization. They know very well that there are so many type of items I need around. For each item, they're codified, UNSPSA. And then what they do around every year, suppliers are shortlisted on a regular basis and they are codified. Okay, this supplier can give 5 SKU item, this can give 20 SKU item, and codes are given to them. So whenever I need some item 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 3, system automatically picks up who are the suppliers. Because in my database, and database is not a closed database. The database we have kept open. If today I am a supplier, I never supplied to that company, let's say my previous company, I can register Somebody will review it, which is a human element required. They'll say, guys, this guy is supplying 5 consulting services, and this consulting companies are required by us, and company is good, bad, blah, blah, and then they shortlist me. The moment I'm shortlisted, so in future, any requirement comes, automatically I get my request. And then they will call me for e-auction or something, and then the job can be done. Then we come to 3 E's of digital values. So digital technology function is an enabler. It helps you efficiency. The key point of efficiency is robotic process automation. I'll explain it later. So this is one is picking up in India a lot, I would say, is the robotic process automation. So some companies have started using it. If something is a manual process, repetitive process, so people are moving into RPA, so it helps me to improve that. The next one is digital effectiveness. Data tools are required, predictive modeling is required, and lastly is digital experience. Ultimately, the customer loves to have a digital experience. You and me, when we go online shopping, whether on X company or Y company or Amazon, so Amazon experience is already there in our mind. So we want to have same experience in the B2B also. So today, when you guys are doing business to business, you want your customer to have exactly the same experience they do at home. Why can't we bring the same experience when you and me get it and when we're buying for the home, bring in the same office also? The day we can bring that experience, it is only possible through digital experience. So this is where our journey is very important around on the 3 E's, efficiency wise, effectiveness wise, and lastly is experience. The customer gets experience. So digital transformation to me is a game changer ahead and you can't avoid it. Let me make it very clear. So the beauty of this one is you can collaborate, automate the process, particularly RPA, I'll explain a little more. Analyze, analyze, analyze. The game of digital all is linked with data. If your data is not good, data is not clean, I can't make head and tail of the data around. Sometime I write I'm buying laptop. Then other time I'm writing personal computers. Although they may be both same thing, I don't know, but you might be having same purpose, but it doesn't convey the same meaning around. So you need automating the process, analyze the information. You can think of when we move into this, procurement people also have to go 2 steps forward to learn new things. So here is the poll questions. Either you can do the poll and then you can ask questions around. Poll 2. Questions. Okay, guys, let's see the first one. Which of the following software leads to implementation of procurement 2.0? So we all agree ERP, ERP, ERP. So MRP is procurement 1.0, ERP is procurement 2.0, e-procurement leads to this, and digital leads to 4 or smart, whatever you want to call it. Super. So I think very clear around. So majorly I said ERP. The second one, which of the following future procurement role is true? So majority of you said the revenue generator. This is what the C-level people want to hear you. If you're only talking of the bottom line, 5% saving, 6% saving, you have to talk to the CFO. CFO has to certify yes. It doesn't get the value. What gets the value when you say, guys, I can increase the sale by 10%. I can increase the sale by 5% through my inputs. So revenue generator is a key thing. And the next is cross-functional. You have to have very cross-functional. And this is where my personal experience, maybe I'm wrong, majority people procurements are inward. I think you have to be wonderful communicators in writing and verbal also. So that is very important around for the future procurement people to be wonderful communicators, carry the team together. That's very important. Okay, guys, then the next one is digitization and digitalization. So I think majority of you have said 100% correct. So that means no. So it is two are different things around. One is conversion. Example I gave you of Philippines. The guy was scanning whole day. So that is digitization. Digitalization is online everything. Great. So guys, any question before I go? We could have the coffee break or something.
So, Mr. Batra, Manoj here.
Yeah, hi Manoj.
Hi. So, what's the correct answer for this question number 2? Cross-functional or revenue generator? Because according to me, it should be both. Even though I have mentioned only cross-functional, later on I realized that it should be both. But the option is not available to click on the two answers.
I appreciate. Now, if I take the importance and the two, both are correct. I'm not questioning that part. But what is more important is, if you want to be at the top level to be listened and respected, the revenue generation is the main thing. Then every board meeting, they will invite you. Can you help us? How can we improve this? Cross-function is a little next priorities, but the top priority is today my worry, which I've seen in the last 40, 50 years, procurement doesn't get the importance what it needs it as on today.
True.
So revenue generation to me is number one. Certainly you to do that, you have to be cross-functional.
That's true.
If you can't carry the team, nobody will listen to you. You might be the smartest guy. Nobody will listen to you if you're not a cross-functional.
True. It's a tool actually. Cross-functional is a tool used in the revenue generation also, and also in implementation of the other strategic initiatives.
Very right. Okay, guys, anyone else? Otherwise, I would like to give a floor to our two friends who came later. Manor, you are there? Manor Patida, you are there? I think Manor came and Lokesh was also there. We didn't hear him in the morning.
Good morning, everyone. Lokesh here.
Hi, Lokesh. How are you? I hope everything okay. I'm
all well. I'm so sorry. It was my mistake. You would be saying it's a humorous gap of understanding. I'm in a different time zone, and I considered my time zone to join. So I was right through my time zone, but actually wrong as per the timeline.
Where are you based?
I'm from Dubai. So when I considered 10 a.m., I supposedly assume 10 a.m. has been converted to my time zone.
Anyway, sorry, I think we should have clarified further.
No, thank you. Sorry about that. It was there, but it's my mistake. You know, very much dependability on technology.
Super. I know Dubai is moving very fast on the blockchain also. So,
yeah, and big data as well.
Big data. So,
yeah.
I mean, this is the future. Let's be honest, whether we like it or not. This is the future. Okay, then we have, I think, Shridhar, you were also not there in the morning. Am I right? I missed you in the morning. Shridhar.
Hi, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, please, if you want to tell us about it.
Yeah, currently I have some 11 years of experience in IT procurement specifically. Okay. This is my first ISM webinar. Yeah. And the reason for me to join this is to add more value and to see what is the future and to understand the experts' point of view.
Good. Any questions now? I think we have covered everybody around. I know one guy, Manor, was supposed to be there, but I didn't hear him. So anyone else has a questions around? You can raise your hand, unmute it, unmute it, and they can unmute themselves.
Actually, no questions, but just a brief about me. I am into the same zone of digital procurement, working in Oracle. So would be always happy to share the things we look forward. We want the companies to think around digitization. As I was attending your session, and it was pretty much bang on and very much aligned with what we think as well.
Super. I'm happy that you're supporting. But anyway, I think this is again a group thing around. So if you feel anything you want to add up, you're welcome anytime during the session.
Sure.
Okay. Anything else before I say got the coffee break? We have 2 minutes, but if you want, we can have 15 minutes break and then come back. Okay, Manoj. Okay, Manoj has joined, I think, as Ankit. Manoj, you are there? Ankit, sorry, Ankit, you are there? Ankit Tiwari. I think you can unmute yourself. Ankit, it looks okay. Sorry, no problem. I think when we come up. Is it okay with everybody? Let's have 15 minutes break because online can be sometimes boring if it's not. Everyone okay? 15 minutes?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
that's
Yeah.
fine.
So we meet at 12:15.
Yes.
Okay then. Thanks. Okay, everybody's there. Okay, friends, welcome back. And can I say everybody's there? Looks like, yeah. Okay, welcome to session 3. Now, this is all about digital technologies now. In the session 2, let me go back again. Session 1 was to give you the whole journey, how purchasing became procurement, procurement became supply management, what changes has happened around. Then we talked about session 2, which went into basically understanding around the need for digital technology. We talked about starting from MRP, went into ERP. From ERP, we went to e-procurement. From e-procurement, we went to digital technology. So we got some ideas about what is digital technologies and this. Now here I'm going to talk about which are the key technologies. I think initially one of the participants asked around was, what are the digital technologies around per se? So I'll walk through those technologies which are very popular nowadays. But keep in mind, the word digital technology is linked to a lot extent with Industry 4.0. Okay. Udit, I can see now. Now the quote of the day I would say is, for when I talk of technologies, the firms that adopt digital enablers. So digital enablers are nothing but the digital technology. So basically, once you adopt those, the new business models will come up. And the reason for that is everybody knows that the simple labor rates and repetitive mass productions are no longer a sufficient winning strategy. I know in the good old days, it was although our rates are very low, that is not good enough. I'm doing repetitive work, same thing around. If that could be done with RPA and others, that's better around. The word of the change starts from, I would say there's no better place than saying World Economic Forum. The chairman said, we stand on the brink of technological revolution. Now, this meeting happens every year. It is attended by the top CEOs of 500 Fortune companies. All the world's president, prime ministers, Mr. Modi has been also there last year. So when I was in the UN as a chairperson, so I used to attend in the good old days as a participant. So we stand on the brink of this technology revolution. That's what he says. And that is going to change what? The way we live, the way we work. And we have all noticed now. I think this during COVID, we have all learned all this thing. And this quote was in 16, but we have seen the way we live, the way we work, and relate to one another. So relate to one another is also very easy. Then now we can't hug anybody. We can't say anything. We can only do namaste to everyone. So the whole thing has changed already in its scale, scope, and complexity. The transformation will be unlike anything humankind. I think this 2016, when he said, this transformation is already, we are able to see the light. Industry revolutions 1, 2, 3, 4. One came in 1784 when there was talking of mechanization. We came with coal power, steam power. Then came Industry 2.0 when electricity came. So when electricity came, then the people came in the car industry for the mass productions around. Industry 3.0. So in 69, computers came around. Automation, those who are in manufacturing, they know very well CNC and all those things came up in those times. And that's a time, I would say the lean procurement, and that started before that, has been in the process. Then came Industry 4.0. And Industry 4.0 is all about cyber physical system. So we are all connected, machine to machine, machine to person, everybody is connected. So the key technologies are IoT. I mean, big data was there already. I would not say it was just came Industry 4.0. The data was there. But the data was not so big. Because everything was done in-house. Then slowly I started outsourcing it. Now I can grab that data also, which is outside. I can get the data from social media. So data really became big data. Machine to machine, they can speak around. If there are mass production going on, one machine does something, basic machining, and then it goes for drilling to the second machine. It already knows if this work has been done and this has to be moved, it can be done robotically. So cyber physical system, one machine to another machine to person, everybody is connected. So when we talk of Industry 4.0, so the activity goes which supports industry, any industry, could be service industry, could be manufacturing industry. Digital supply chain is important. Smart manufacturing in case the manufacturing is involved. Now, when we talk about digital supply chain, underneath, procurement becomes also important. Procurement also is part of the supply chain, so you need to digitize that also. Extended supply chain, if I say around Industry 4.0 are changing traditional business model. Because of cyber physical system, people are connected, products are connected, assets are connected. Everybody is connected. If I want my car to start even when I'm leaving my room, I can do it from remote. I'm coming from outside, I want my AC to work, I can do from remote, AC will start. So again, that IoT is there, I can remote from my office, I can make it on, off, everything. Explosion of big data. So the data has become really big in size, which cannot be managed with existing systems. So that is what we're talking about. As company embed sensors, now sensors have also come up in the products around. So the sensors can send the data to the clouds. Let's say my goods are coming from Hong Kong, medical supplies are coming, and those medical supplies need particular humidity, need particular temperatures. I might be having RFID and all those things around codes and this, but then if I got a sensors which can sense the temperature, can sense the heat, and send the information to the cloud, I might be sitting in India, I can check what's happening, where my goods are, what's the temperature, what's the humidity. So all that information is coming to me all the time. So I'm getting much more data than I need around, to be honest. So that's the beauty of it. So if you look at the digital part, I'm using the word supply chain because procurement is part of it. If you look at the whole thing, the planning is becoming digital. Supply is nothing but your procurement. And digital manufacturing, and last is digital logistics. So the digital supply is the one which we're talking around digital procurement transformation. Here I just thought I would touch you. So this is the report which is produced by one of the institute in France. It's called World Digital Competitiveness Ranking. So India stands, if I look under different factors, on the knowledge side, we are ranked 37. On technology wise, we are 59. Future readiness, we have got to 51. Now each component, when we talk of knowledge, it comprises of various sub-components like talent, training, scientific, concentrations. You can see the scoring around how we stand in the world around. Coming back to digital technologies, which are there, the core part, and then the maturing ones, which are very mature. Now I could say emerging one. A maturing one, cognitive computing, artificial intelligence, now the Watson, IBM is there very much. Intelligent content extractions. Predictive analytics becoming very, very important around. Visualizations, collaborations, crowdsourcing. This is also becoming very powerful nowadays. If I want to develop something, I know it is going to take me 1 year. I can split the work around and I crowdsource everybody around. The job could be done, the software development could be done much quicker. 3D printers. 3D printers, I have seen Some companies in India have started using it, particularly for aircraft parts around. One aircraft might be costing you 200 million, 150 million, or maybe 300 million, depending on the type of the airplane. If one part is stuck, and it takes me a month to get the part from the main manufacturer, you can imagine how much money I'm losing. Every aircraft is on the lease basis. I'm paying my money to the bank through my nose, and if I can't take the money out of it, I'm wasting it. So 3D printing is helping us. Within 24 hours, I can replicate the parts around. Emerging technology, blockchain certainly is going to change the trend in a big way, because we do certification on blockchain also. So this is going to change in a big way. Sensors, cyber tracking, virtual realities. Virtual reality, I'm not looking at much this time because it's more with the inventory part around. If I've got a big inventory of 1 million SKUs, I want to see where this part number is lying and how many pieces. Yes. Otherwise, not much in the procurement, but certainly in the inventory part. Now, digital transformation. So we can say Industry 4.0 is here and is happening now. And if India wants to be the industrial hub in years to come with Make in India, then certainly we have to follow the path. Now, digital technologies, which are the very popular one, is IoT, Internet of Things, AIs, cloud computing. I know it's become very popular. I remember in 2010 when I came, cloud was very nominally. On the airport, I could see Microsoft name or I could see IBM's other names around. But now it's picked up very big way. So software as a service, SaaS, again through clouds around. Even now procurement is coming as a platform. PAAP, procurement as a platform. I'll explain later what it means around. And not just transforming the way it functions. For procurement too, technology is no longer an enabler, but a key driver for transformation. If we want to transform, you need the technology. So technology is disrupting and transforming profession. Some of you may guys go, how can technology disrupt it? You are using old technology, let's say S2P, but there still is got a gap, visibility gap. But if I'm the one who's competing with you, I don't have a visibility gap. My response rate is much quicker. So that means my technology is disrupting yours. So the new technologies are disrupting it and transforming professional industry. So we need to really understand which technology we need. I think this is the area where we are a little bit left behind. I think same Indians, when they're working abroad, they're doing the latest things, latest art of the technologies around, they're heading the big companies around, but within India, technology is still, I would say, left behind. We need to take a key pace if we are to get into the real manufacturing world around. Most important technologies, big data, automations, artificial intelligence, robotics. These are the broad technology, digital technology, which question came in the morning around. 3D printing, yes. And I happened to see it personally in one of the workshops organized by ISM USA. I happened to see it, it could replicate easily around. They can replicate the person also. So if they can put down in front of you, you won't know who's this. Is it me or they accept the facial expression? Yes. But 3D printer can do a lot of replications. There is a limitation, I would say, still say, because there are some materials which are very complex. So those cases, 3D printing is still not feasible. But if I'm looking at an aircraft, I need the impeller, the fans, some parts around, I can replicate around. Plastic component, yes. Aluminum component, yes. We could do that. Yeah. Then we have artificial intelligence, AI. Artificial intelligence is nothing but to mimic the human brain, the way human brain works. Augmented reality, So whatever reality I have, virtual reality, I can augment further. Big data is certainly very powerful. Omni-channels, IoT, cloud computing, robotics, sensors, simulation. The one I see around immediately is very powerful. 3D printing is coming for those who are buying maintenance item. I know many companies are buying maintenance item from the main principal who gave the technology. You bought the technology 30 years back. I know one plant I went on, 25 years old it was designed. Technology was from US, from Texas. Now you want the same part back here. Can you imagine this? The technology become obsolete. The guy has to make for you is going to charge you a fortune. So even if you've got a compressor which is 30 years old and you want same compressor piston now, they're going to cost you much more. With 3D printing, you can cut down. So maintenance, repair items, I think certainly 3D printing is bound to help a lot. Cloud computing is becoming very powerful. So that's the one I know when we people used to have our own servers. So now when we're buying softwares and I'm trying to connect with my ecosystem, cloud computing helps it. Internet of Things, we'll explain more further on this, each one. RFID, I've been hearing from a long, many years. I remember the time of barcodes. So I had a chance to work with the barcode team in Europe and America. So we were trying to link UNSPSC with the barcode. So I had a chance to be in Brussels and other places around. And that's the time RFID was being thought about. So I'm very happy now RFID is cost effective now. So it's coming, radio frequency identification. So that's okay. Digital technology practices in procurement. Now, which are the one very powerful in place and which are planned. So this gives you bigger pictures. Cloud, first thing. Internet of Things, big data, simulation. Earlier we used to do, if I do this way, what will happen? Now here I simulate it. Gives me much more real information. Augmented reality, RFID, sensor technology, 3D printing, omni-channels, robotics, so wide range of technologies around which are there. So they are all part of digital technology. When we talk of procurement 4.0, so which is purely digital, first thing is you need a collaboration. Then you have to become agile. And third is digital means you have to become, procurement 4 requires, if I want to be procurement 4.0, my system should be digital, I should be collaborative, and I should be agile. So digital transformation is only one component of procurement 4.0. So keep that factor in mind. So digital transformation covers my technology part. It does not cover every component of procurement 4.0. So procurement 4.0 is basically a combination of people, leadership, and other things. So that's the way I think makes it very clear around, because if you see what to buy and how to buy part means technology comes in. In how to buy, I have got two components, technology part and the leadership part. That's the way it comes. These are one powerful disruptions. The very first disruption I would call around digitized ecosystem. The whole system, ecosystem, everybody is connected. It's not going in a straight line. It's going in a connected system. So connected means new business model, total digital ecosystem. Second disruption could be the upsurge of big data. Analytic technology has been rapid and rapid. Clouds has been quite big disruption. Social has been quite a big thing around. IoT has disrupted in a big way. My medical supplies, my goods which are going worldwide, everybody is having IoT connections. Even the transportation in the country, traffic in the country. I could connect with IoT, get all the informations, which route is more affected, which route not. I can do much more better study around. And the next is disruption 3, which is happening around technology-wise, that deploys the right skills can leverage analytics to know instead of merely to speculate. So that disruption, earlier we had data. I can tell you mine, when we were doing from 2005 till 2010, till I was a chairperson, we had all the data around, but we were not able to analyze it. But now I can see with proper coding systems, with correct data, clean data, and now with algorithmic machine learning, I can really do much more intelligence. Data is a data. Has no meaning, to be honest. But if data has got the right clean data, it becomes information. And that information, if I can really identify why it is happening, what is the purpose of it, then it becomes intelligence. Otherwise, data is not intelligence. Data has to be converted. It has to be massaged, become information. You further massage, it becomes intelligence. So then you get the contextual data. That's the way disruption. The way I look around, to me, the data is the key beginning of all. The other broad technologies around IoT for connectivity, cloud again for connectivity. ERPs will not give you that connectivity out with the outside world. So you need clouds if you want that way. Big data, data analytics. So they are the one intelligence analytics part around. And if you want human machine and this connections around, then we have manufacturing technologies, which could be 3D printing and all this thing around. And then the next comes robotics and autonomous transportation. So autonomous transportation, I'm not saying that you need everywhere in India because we have too much people around, but certainly in the warehouses. The warehouses are prone to some chemicals, fire hazard, something. There, the movement of the goods could be done with the autonomous transportation. I'm dealing with chemicals. So in those situations, where the risks are much bigger around, I could use autonomous transportation part. This gives you some other technologies, what effect it has around on different things. So I think they're straightforward. I don't need to explain further. The benefits we get is a lower cost, better risk management, visibility is there, and tighter compliance. Let's start. I'll walk through each technology's part. Robotic process automation. Let me quote this example with, it's a combination of two things. Let's say I'm walking on the road. Somebody comes behind me. My eyes have seen that somebody is coming behind me. And the moment the guy tries to do something, the message goes from my eyes to the head. Is more like a database. See, human bodies are the biggest robot, humanoid robot. My eyes see something, which is like an IoT, Internet of Things. If somebody is coming behind me, and I see the wrong intention, the guy may hit me. My eyes have seen, that is my, you can call as IoT, Internet of Things. That senses the information to my brain, where I got a database. Now that data which is there, understand that this guy has a bad intention. He's going to hit you. Then my intelligence system, which is my AI, I won't say artificial intelligence, my real eye intelligence, my brain. If it is a dumb, then it's a different story. But if it's a working system, my brain, my intelligence says, guys, this guy is going to hit you. And to protect myself, I raise my hand. So that's the concept of analogy. I can talk of RPA. So in RPA, you got three things around. You got IoT, you got data, you got AI. Combination of this helps you to do it. Now let me put it this way. If I'm working in a company like e-commerce company, I'm keeping a stock of a warehouse is big, a warehouse. I'm saying, guys, I've got a stock of 200 laptops and I know my lead time. The moment laptop becomes 40, which means I know this 40 will be consumed, exhausted in next 2 weeks. And my lead time is 2 weeks. Order should go automatically. Today, what we do manually, I walk around my warehouse. I've got million SKUs, which is not a surprise to me. Million SKU, and I look around and count everything until the item has been shifted somewhere. I count everything. Oh, no, it is still left with 20. Then I place an order. But if this can be done, this is a monotonous work. It's a boring job. Counting, telling the management, sir, it has reached minimum level now, you place an order. Make a requisition. Now, if this could be done automated, you and me all can understand around robotic process automation. If each shelf, I go to the Walmart, each shelf automatically checks how much it is reached. The moment computer system says you have reached minimum level, it automatically places the order to the supplier which has been already approved. So that is what we call RPA. So RPA is a robotic process automation. So the process which I would have done manually, now it is done, system takes care of it. The way example I gave you, personal human being, my eyes see something, my brain tells me something, I raise my hand to protect myself. Same way here in the office, I protect my office by placing an order automatically. It's a beautiful thing, and it's picking up in India because the labor cost is also going up. And now with a lot of migrant workers have gone. So that is, I think some people are taking this opportunity to move into RPOs. Stable, relatively static application. If it's a static application, until I change the level number, that's different. But stable, relatively repetitive function, boring function, monotonous function, mundane function you may call, can be done with RPA. Need to access multiple systems. I have to check 3 places around before I just say place an order. Limited needs for human interventions. Clear understanding of current cost of manually completing. If I know my cost, high transaction volume. This is the question normally I ask whenever we do some consulting. What is the cost of making a purchase order in your company? I know you guys can check it back. 70 to 80% don't know what is the cost of making a PO. So when you're getting into digital world, if you don't know the mathematics, how much it costs you now, why will you change to the other one? The CEO will ask, guys, why you're telling me digital part? Can you give me first the mathematics, how much it costs us? And then you can justify it. I know you can hire a consultant, they'll come and do the study for you. But you guys also have to be knowing it. How much is my cost? If I go into this, what is the cost? What is my return on investment? So that part is very important. Just to quote you, it was 1999, I got my study done in the US. One purchase order was costing us $100, close to $100 US dollars to raise one POs from beginning to end. Just requisition, making a PO and $100. Then when I did some work with some companies around, in India also, I'm just talking last year alone, it was costing around 7,000 rupees per purchase order. Some places the process is so slow, which takes 40 days to make a PO. You can imagine around 10 times the guy will be questioned by the 3 bosses around. Every boss will ask 10 questions. Give me this report, give me this report before I sign the PO. The cost of the PO jumps up. So India also is not very cheap to make a POs around. Let's get down. I hope everybody got the idea of RPA before I move to the IoT. Any questions so far on this technology of? I'm taking the key technologies around. Internet of Things. Internet of Things, the way example I gave you with the humanoid robots which God has made us. My eyes are the IoT. It watches every time, every information. And it's sending information to my brain cells. So the database which I have in the head, all things are going there. Here also IoT, everything is connected. Your home, your music system, your fan, your TV, your web, everything is connected. And everything is creating too much data for you. Now, if you are in an industry, and particularly when the shipments are going around, critical temperature is important, critical humidity is important around, then you certainly need IoTs. And IoT with sensors are giving complete information to the data bank. Nobody can play with it. Otherwise, what happens in the past, I mean, still I can say in that existing technology, if IoT is not there, and I tell the supplier, I want this humidity, this temperature, and give me the report also, the guy can cook the data. But if I got the IoT and the information is going to the clouds, and in the cloud data which supplier is collecting around, then also they can cook it. I'm not questioning it. And this is where the blockchain will help us later. I can come back. Right? So, but IoT is a wonderful tool. The big data, IoT, RPA, they are the wonderful tools around. So this can be used for predictive maintenance. If I have got Internet of Things for everything at home, how much money I'm spending on the fan, how much on the air conditioner, what problems happen, what type of problem I'm getting around, I can analyze those things around. That's all. So it's creating extra information. Future proofing, if you want around, you want to proof yourself with all the problems, you have to be first insight driven analytics. Insights can only come when you have a data. So from data, then I can do the second pillar part is omnichannels, personalized stakeholder experience, digital enabled procurement workforce. So workforce also should be digitally smart orchestrations. We all know orchestrations, but if I can do smart orchestration, smarter thing. Ecosystem is connected. That's the way the ecosystem is connected, future proofing. Like now many companies were affected because there was only one supplier during the COVID-19. And that supplier is affected by tier 2, tier 3 suppliers. That could be avoided if we would have proper ecosystem end to end. 3D printing, there's beautiful things around. I know there's a tolerance gap in some product which may need very fine tolerance around. They may have a limitation with 3D printing. The beautiful thing of 3D printing I've seen for the teeth around, when you are getting some new teeth to be changed, 3D printers are there around. They take the impression of your existing teeth and reproduce it. So by the time you have a coffee, the new teeth is ready to fix it. So 3D printing, but I leave aside that part, but there are other components which are being made around. Human body parts are also being done with 3D printing. Airplane example, I gave it to you. So they are doing with 3D printing. So there are some material which there are limitations. Some complex material cannot be done with 3D printing, but this is done. And I have seen personally this machine working around in one of the exhibitions. Big data is big data. It's a massive volume of both structured and unstructured data. The data which I have in ERP is structured. I can categorize them. The one I'm getting from social media, if I'm in the marketing business, I want to get that data. Who likes my product, who does not like my product, who likes my company, who does not like. That unstructured data is so large. That means this thing whole has become very big. Your smartphone is constantly uploading data. If you allowed your phone to give your location, so wherever you go, it's giving the information around. How fast you're moving, it's giving the information. What apps you're using, information is there. You can imagine around small smartphone is creating so much data about you. If in the daytime you're gone 20 places, all information is collected. Big data can be used to predict the patterns, the trends, and take decisions also. So big data can help us to take decisions per se. Now there's a lot of external data, which in the past we were missing it. Because now this data is available. So we have this one, customer generated data, streaming data, sensors data with IoT and all this in third-party data, social part data around, customer generated text around their data. So these data can be capitalized by us now. So this is all about the big data. So before I go to the machine learning, any questions so far on these issues around? Everybody clear?
No, I have a question.
Yes, Manoj, go ahead.
Yeah. So practical implementation of IoT, I'm a bit confused. Okay, suppose we are in a machine building industry, or we are actually project driven organization, project solution providing organization.
Yeah.
And we are not manufacturing any machines, or any company is not manufacturing any equipment for their own consumption. They are actually for supplying those products to their customers.
Yeah.
So how will our IoT be implemented over there? Is it that their machines, for all their machines, the sensors will be attached, and all those sensors will sense the data and generate the analytics out of it?
Yeah, let me put it this way now. Firstly, correct me if I'm understanding. It's a project approach around you're talking about.
Yeah.
Let's say I'm in an oil industry. I'm sitting in Texas. I'm a designer. And I know this plant I'm making for a big company, some oil company. And I need 10,000 or 20,000 parts around and components around. And out of those 20,000, hundreds are coming from someone, some compressors are coming from someone, pipes are coming from someone. Design is mine. And this is a real thing around, I'm telling you. So that means no, compressor is coming from somewhere, other things are coming from somewhere. No, I know very well if this compressor does not come in this time, I cannot fit the other parts. So if we have all learned the PERT and CPM part, in the PERT and CPM, then I can say which are my critical path methods. If this part does not come, and now I know through IoT that this is still stuck on the way, and this may take another 20 days. This may take another 30 days. This may take another 40 days. I've got 10,000 items around. Any project may have easily 10,000, maybe more even. Now, even a nut and bolt could be equally important sometime. It is a low value item, but it's very important. I cannot mount them. So now when it comes to that, now if I have to do manually, I'm the project manager. If I have to do manually change my PERT and CPM, because this is delayed by 10 days, this item is delayed by 5 days, I can spend, I would love as a college student to do this job, but when I'm doing so much other activities around, I want this on immediately. My boss comes and asks me, Krishan, can you tell me what is the latest thing around? Is the date on or not? Is it changed or not? He or she is only interested in the last date. In between, I've got 10,000 activities or 10,000 parts moving from worldwide, coming to my place. So now when anything gets delayed or up or down, some will not affect my whole program, some will affect. So this could be done very smartly by IoT, then predictive analytics around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because this is the example we had done with one company we were doing with them, and it's an oil industry, famous oil industry of India. All new plant they were setting up. You need everything around. Manually is difficult, let me tell you. I know human being, we think we are smart. We are smart, but then we will do with spreadsheet, then I'll convert into a chart. 10,000 activity, even 100 activity, I get confused, let me tell you. So if you have 10,000 activities around and you want to give an answer real-time basis, then you need this AI, you need IoT, you need certain.
Clear.
So I would say any one of you dealing with project, please, this is a must. Okay, sorry, let me get back to the machine learning. There are many things which we do. I think all of us who are from the science and engineering background, we know very well, we can easily convert into a formula, everything. If something happened, this plus this is this. So same way, in a machine learning also is, I'm trying to convert into algorithmic, everything. If this is delayed by 1 week, this will have this impact, this will have this impact. So there's a formula for that. So that algorithmic which I create myself, and that algorithmic becomes part of my machine learning and gives me some idea. And machine learning is a part of artificial intelligence. So machine learning can easily, when I do a RPA, so RPA also works through algorithmic. So that algorithmic becomes part of my artificial intelligence. So when I talked of the example, I was talking of RPA. RPA is again 3 parts. I got eyes, which is like an IoT. I got the head, which is my data, big data there. And the data is connected with my brain. And brain is my I. I'm not saying A, I'm just saying intelligence. So now when we talk to the other one, artificial side, I have AI, I have IoT, but AI is working on machine learning. So there is the formulas around, guys, okay, this is going to affect this. Now the rain is coming, something is coming, some disruption is coming. Algorithmic will find if this disruption happens, if flood comes, this is way, then I can create algorithmic for that. If delay happens, if this company, this is my algorithmic. So I create my algorithmic, I create my machine learning, and machine learning can be used for many analytics, can be used for predictive analytics, can be used for AIs, can be used for this. So the applications are data analysis. I want to optimize my supply chain. Optimize means end-to-end at the end of the day, starting from purchasing till delivery. If any activity get delayed, and that could have impact on 100 activities around, in one part of my foundry area has come flood. And I know very well now which are the affected things around. Then I'll create my own. In the good old days, we were doing also algorithmic mathematical formulas. Now here mathematical formulas are so complex with so many parameters, my computer does it. So this is how it is there around machine learning. So those who are good in science, maths, I've seen many people with maths background, PhD in maths, doing machine learning. At least in the US, I met many people. I attended one program where some of our relative was getting in the PhD program. Majority of the PhD people were getting into machine learning, algorithmic, this and that. So it's a wonderful tool. Those who loves mathematics, those who love science, those who loves formulas around, they can. Smaller formulas we all can do, but the bigger complex. Let's say I want to do algorithmic. I'm working in a big companies. I'm selling in 200 countries. I got 1 million distributors worldwide. And one change happened, or second change happened, whether geopolitically, product-wise, airline, or whatever you may call COVID-19, I can create my algorithm. So I could do that thing. So that's a complex issue. There are simple one also, and then there are complex one also. Simple one I know I used to do with spreadsheet also. So any delay happens, anything happens, any plant gets stuck because of one line, because in those days when I used to do, plant used to be straight line. So there were no bifurcations. If any activity gets stuck, there's no whole plant comes to an end. So we used to work it out. So machine learning is that's the way, because we are using machine to do the calculation for us. Instead of human being doing it, machine does it. That means laptop, I'll put a formula, I'll put the parameters, and gives me the answers around. So the people who are doing demand planning, they also use machine learning quite a lot. Next comes artificial intelligence. Simple thing, it's simulation of human intelligence. Now this approaches could be, you're basically developing a computer system. So which can perform the tasks that typically require human intelligence. If human intelligence says, hey guys, if the temperature goes 95 degrees, remove from here to here. And presently my job is I'm working as an operator. He said, guys, the moment it reaches 25, shift it from here to here. And when the last machining cut is given, move it from here to here. Now that intelligence I can feed into the computer also, in the robot also. If they know very well, they can sense it is 95 temperature. It switches off, moves it. So basically, like a programmer, I develop different steps around. And then accordingly, the robot works for that. So I'm basically looking through AI is thinking like humanly, way human does. I know human way we do shortcuts many times, but computer world, there's no shortcut. You have to write it step by step. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. So thinking humanly, thinking rationally, logic by logic, and acting humanly and acting rationally. So this is where it comes. So when we talk of acting, means we have behavior. Thinking means they're giving me the inputs. They are not doing any action. So artificial intelligence is only thinking and send me the inputs. Sir, this plant is going to have problems. It's going to stop in next half an hour. But it's not stopping it. So acting means they become, the behavior becomes like that. I remember the time when we used to do them, since I come from the production side, and I work with Pratt Whitney and all the big companies around. So if I'm doing machining, I'm doing with the drilling and this and that, I'm thinking in one way, but whether the drill has reached the end point or not, sometimes I'm in a bad mood, I can go on doing further. But the system knows very well that the height is so much, depth is so much. The moment it reaches 3.51 inch, stop it, it stops. So system has got that artificial intelligence around. So this is also becoming very powerful nowadays. IoT, you could call Internet of Objects or Internet of Things. It's interrelating all devices, objects. It allows physical world to communicate with computer, to decentralize analytics around. So basically it is connecting everything. In a simple way, if I want everything of my house, I can connect it. I'm a lazy guy, let's say. I don't want to lose my chair and I want to switch off the fan. I want to switch off everything, make it on and off, sitting at my place. I can do through IoT. If my fan is connected to IoT, and all the fans are available. I was surprised last year, some of the fans in the market are available. So they have IoT systems. I can make it on off from remote. So IoT is there around. You can connect everything, your mobile, your music, everything around. So shipments are going around. I can put Internet of Things there also. Goes that way. And on top of it, I can have sensor also, which senses whatever you want. If it senses, okay, temperature is 90 degrees, stop it, it will stop it. Now the next come, which is the next revolution, which I am personally fond of it, even my age, is blockchain. Every one of us is moving into the digital world. But digital has its own negative thing also, you know very well. Anybody can hack into this. Sorry guys. So it can hack into this. So that hacking part and today digital world is all centralized to some extent. Look at social media. Look at Facebook. It's all centralized. Even you talk of your Uber is all centralized system. Can I think of a decentralized system? In a decentralized means, in a simple word, I would call as a democratic word. Centralized means I'm a communist. I control everything. I'm the boss. The good thing of centralized is things will go as one desires, the top boss guy's desires. But decentralized means you make everybody powerful. Everybody is powerful. Today, let's say Facebook is made decentralized. Except somebody has to give you a system. You may say somebody has to maintain the system. You and me are writing. Who's writing the story? Who's writing the text? Millions of people like you and me. Facebook is only giving the system. And who's the billionaire? They are the billionaire. You and me are not the billionaire. Uber, taxi, they give you platform. The poor driver, everybody is connected to it. But they are not the billionaire. The billionaire is the guy who was given the system. They are not invested much. Investment is by the poor guy. Now somebody has come up recently, and I think Uber is also thinking of, to come with a decentralized system. That means the system connects everybody around. All the drivers are connected, peer to peer. So now when I need the taxis around, I don't go to the central system. And basically I go to the system, but it goes to those drivers which are in the neighborhood, and some of them replies it. So basically they bid for it. They bid for it based on the rates prevailing in the market. Today I know it is controlled centrally, but now in this case, the individual can bid it also. So the payment part, except that initially when you are confirming it, this is what is practice being done in the US now, is something going on. That means I'm booking it, I pay some money, which goes to the company which maintains the system, that's all. So they get their share a little bit, everybody has to get share. Then the driver gets the rest money. So that's a concept coming around. Don't you think this could be a killer for the Uber then? So what is blockchain is nothing but I know Uber is also thinking of the new ideas in this fashion as well, because the world is changing. So if you look around in a centralized system, you and me go to the bank, all information is stored to the bank. You and me buy a property, your state government or your municipality keeps all the data around. Who is the owner of the house? If somebody joins hand with someone and change the name in the computer system, you and me can go on fighting with the courts. It's all digital data, am I right? So the digital data is creating a new concept of the trust is not there. The system is trustful, the bank is trustful, the government is trustful, municipality is trustful. The trust is there, but still this can be played around. But the moment we make it decentralized, it's more trustful. Look at our own country. We are very democratic. Nobody can hide the facts around here. I know the process becomes slower compared to a communist country or one guy controlling the whole country. And being a democratic, everybody has an information, everybody has own ideas. So same way the blockchain is nothing, is a database. It's a decentralized database. It is not a centralized database. Everybody has the information who's part of the blockchain, the group. If I'm working in a company, let's say in X company or Y company, in my company, I connect everybody, all the suppliers, complete ecosystem into my blockchain. So everybody has the right information and I can't change it. The moment the block is a chain of blocks. Each block is a transaction. Transaction means it could be a requisition, it could be a purchase order, it could be the receipt of the goods around, it could be a payments around. Now each one has to be validated by somebody. And those authorities, we give it in the beginning. Guys, this is the people who can validate it. So if I got the drivers around, like I was talking of taxi rides one, there the driver has been given authority that you can validate yourself. But in a company, I may say, okay, so and so people can validate. That's what we're talking about the blocks. So each block as like a transaction gets validated. And the beautiful of this, first thing is decentralized. More decentralized means gives you better trust. Like democratic system. It's more trustworthy than a centralized one country, one company, one guy controlling it. And then it's immutable. Nobody can play with it. Because the data is with, I've got 100 people into my peer system. If one wants to play, I have to convince the rest 99 to change it, which is impossible. Until I corrupt everybody, that's a different story. It's technically immutable. Nobody can tamper with the data. So that's the beauty of it, decentralized. His cryptographic proof is there around. So the trust is much bigger around. That's the beauty of blockchain. So it's a chain of blocks. Each block is a transaction. Keep that in mind. Already I know our friend Lokesh he's based in Dubai. I'm sure he can tell us. Blockchain is taking a big move on that direction. India also, I've seen small companies. They're moving into the distribution of milk by using blockchain. The guy is set up in Mathura. He's a guy from Gurgaon. He's doing the distribution. You can see from where the milk started, at what time, where, and all. The whole chain can be seen around. So it gives you much bigger trust than anything else. Yeah, Lokesh, you want to say something on this before I go further?
Definitely, I would like to add, as you rightly said, Dubai being an early adopter of these technologies, many companies have already implemented. One of the example I would like to share is DP World, who is into shipping and maritime, who needs a 24/7 monitoring on their shipments, where their ships are, what items they are carrying. They are already an early adapter and enabler of blockchain using Oracle technology.
So, I think another example is Merck, I think, using it worldwide.
Yeah, correct. I mean, blockchain is very widely accepted in transportation, as you rightly said, Uber, but it's there in shipping as well, which is again another big industry where the whole data floats around the industry, and they need to have a real-time geo monitoring of everything, which also includes where the item is, whether it's in a correct position, not if there is demurrage or anything and everything. It's all being done by blockchain now.
Great. Anyone else wants to touch up some points before I go further on this? Okay, if nothing, let me move to the further. Blockchain technologies, unalterable copied only. Real-time tracking, security, 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 no single point of failure. So if once you can't say my database is down, because everybody has a data. I can always depend on someone else's data around. Reduce the cost around, trusted transaction, no third-party involvements around. So there is no third party, it's a very democratic that way around. So it's peer-to-peer connections and transparent. That's the way I look at it. In a short, if I say it's a shared ledger, it's a database, shared one, cryptography is good, shared contract, consensus is based on the consensus of the team who can authorize it. The beauty of this one is the smart contract is again outcome of the blockchain. Today, what you look around contract is nothing but set of rules and guidelines. If you do this, I'll pay this. If you do this, I'll pay you this. Now, come on, if this thing could be done in a computerized system, if you do 10% of this and cleared by this, automatically payment will go. So this is where smart contracts are coming up compared to traditional contracts. So automatic remittance would be there, fraction of the cost, virtual presence, digital signatures. You don't need lawyers because you're not fighting for small things. Computer is deciding already automatically. So that's the beauty of it, I would say. Okay, now evolution of the technologies, I would say in a summarized way, blockchain is certainly much ahead, although it is still setting a stroke. The problem is the payment part. Because all other activity I can do through this. Now the payments part, the only way it is being done so far is you use either digital currencies around, then you have to link the digital currency with the local currency. So digital currency has to be said, okay, if I create a currency and this is equivalent to 20 rupees as equal to 40 rupees, you have to get, I think that part is still to be done. So maybe the payment part is still done in our normal way. So if the payment part is also done digital currency, the end-to-end, it can be done very quickly. So that's the one part. Second, the speed is very slow when it comes to clearance, some other things around. It still has to do, if I compare with other activities around, speed is, change is happening, I'm not saying that, but it'll take some time. Okay guys, in the tomorrows we are talking, when we talk of anything technologies, the real-time connections. So we are talking of digital collaborations. Already we have started collaborations Like you guys and me are sitting together and doing digital. We're not doing any manual collaboration like in the good old days. I would have gone to your office, sat down with you and chat with you. So it's all becoming digital collaboration. And automatic simulation is there. Earlier we'll say, guys, if this does not happen, what could we do? Here I will just say, if this is not happening, it will simulate and give me much more real data around. Continuous planning and decision making. So demand planning can be done on a real-time basis. Now coming back to the poll 3 icebreaker questions, some of the quiz around. Super, super. I think let me get back. So the very first one, I think everybody said very clearly, it's building on digital revolution. So industrial revolution is all depending on digital revolution. Digital procurement will ensure many improvements. Please click the correct statements. Obviously, we'll digitize the collaborations and scenarios. That's correct. Then we get down to the last ones. Here again, we have which of the following you are using. I think cloud system, I could see many of you are already in this around. 3D printing still not any one of you. So I can say RPA still not. Machine learning, artificial intelligence. So that's there. So I think we're still in the beginning part of it. So it's the right time that we learn the digital world. And if we have to compete in the world tomorrow, we have to compete in the world. So then we have to learn all these things. Okay, guys, then let me go further on this. So the session 4 is about the roadmap to procurement transformation. Any questions so far? So we have covered session 1, understanding the whole evolution part. Session 2, understanding what is digitization, digitalizations. And then session 3 was all about technologies, getting overview of technology. The popular technology is cloud. Certainly many of you are using it. Second is 3D printer. I didn't hear any one of you. RP also no, machine learning no, AI no, IoT no. So that's the way I think I look around. That's change is happening. Now the roadmap to procurement transformation, everything around, everything needs a roadmap. Transformation is one. When we want to do digital transformation, the roadmap has to be there. So that's what we're looking at it. So the key drivers, if I look, it is not technology alone. Keep that factor in mind. Technology is only one component of it. If I just get a software and the whole world will change, no. On the contrary, the money which I put on technology can go into the sink. So if you want to make the benefit of technology, first thing you need strategy, you need the processes, and you need people. Now here, why I'm focusing on strategy and processes around. When we go as a consultant to any companies around, we normally ask guys, what are your processes around? You have got SOPs around. Now your SOPs are if 5 years old, 6 years old, or 10 years old, you have never changed it. You are living in the old world. When in your own home, if you look back honestly, 10 years back what you were and 10 years what you are now, in terms of your habits, practices, all have changed. Don't you think in your own office, you're still following the old practices? Your chair is same, your table is same. Something is wrong. So processes need to be changed. Procedures need to be changed. I know some people will always say, oh, no, we did 20 years back. We are doing successful. Don't come and don't play with it because until it is broke. So until it breaks, people say we don't have to touch it. So that processes need to be changed. Strategy need to be there. People also mindset of the people. If everybody is complacent, Oh, I'm getting my salary, I'm okay, I'm comfortable. But that complacent cannot go on. I know I normally use this word around 70s and 80s and 90s. The life was different. People growth was by age. People will grow in the companies when they get older, they lose the hair, they get the gray hair, promotion was there. But that word has changed in 2000. In 21st centuries, it has nothing to do with the age, nothing to do with experience. It is the knowledge per se. If I'm a manager without AI knowledge, and the guy who's reporting to me is junior guy, but he knows AI, and if company needs AI, then that guy will take over me. So keep in mind, the world is changing too fast. So one way it is good, one way it is bad also. The bad part being people were so comfortable for last 30, 40 years, and now they suddenly have to, they are in 50s and they say, come on, I don't have to learn now. If they don't learn, they are out. And I was joking with someone in the US, since I spent most of my time in the US. If you are 55, 60, people think, this guy doesn't know the latest things. My lucky part, I don't know, God forbid. I mean, this is where I lucky because I worked on EDI standard. I was head of research and development on supply chain. So through and through, I've been in technologies. But when I see people, they become outdated. Companies say, we don't need you because you don't know the latest things. So technology is important. But in addition to technology, you need the people mindset to change, process to be changed, strategy to be changed. So this is all very important before we come to the transformations part. When we talk of transformations, connecting isolated source to pay function to both stuff. So in your source to pay, from sourcing stage, including in-house logistics and warehouse, source something, it is stored somewhere, then it is going to the manufacturing, then the final product is made around. So if I want to do into source to pay function, I need to connect everything. Invoice compliance, payment efficiencies, everything need to be connected. Single entry and source of payment file, significantly reduce manual reconciliation. So when there's a single entry and every information is with the press of a button, I can see on my screen which day it came, when it came, who cleared it, who passed it. I can see the whole path. Gives me beautiful visibility part around. So end-to-end visibility, E2E we are talking around is to connect the siloed system. System mean I'm talking of complete ecosystem, not your own system. Complete ecosystems. I might be using SAP, other guy may be using Oracle, third might be using some e-system. I want to connect all of them. Then I can have automated platform around. And this is where people are talking of procurement as a platform. If procurement is contributing 70, 80%, or supply chain is contributing 80%, I need supply chain as a platform. So that's the way we are talking around. Like Uber gives a platform. So we also give a platform, guys. One end you pour this and other end this comes out. So visibility enables procurement and supply chains to become more effective, more strategic. That's what we look around. A roadmap for change. The very first thing is upskill the team. People are very important. I know we talked about some people losing job with this. I would say you need to upskill the people around. If you don't upskill, I know people will always say, oh no, we have been doing for 20 years, nothing has happened. Why you are telling us to do this way? Upskill of the team is very important. Bridge the transitions and digitalizations. Stakeholder relationship management is very important. Procurement people are normally, I know many of you are with this background, they are very poor on relationship. Because they are used to a relationship where supplier will come and wait outside. And you'll say, guy, let him wait, he's getting a business. Relationship with supplier, relationship with customers, relationship within the house, relationship everywhere around. So stakeholders who have interest in your activities around, you need that. And stakeholders relationship means you're a good communicator. Focus on digitizations. Change KPIs. and your KPIs also has to change. Today, we are only talking of operational measurement. If I have been given 2 KPIs, how many POs I have made in the year, how much saving I have done, if both are done, I'm the smart guy in the. That's okay, but there are much more to go. We have to look from the organizational transformation angle around. Add those KPI also for the people around. So the KPI list, the measure list has to change. Organizational changes, more cross-functional integrations. That is very, very important around. And this cross-functional people still look procurement as a lower function, some places. They think they don't know the subject, don't discuss with us. I'm an IT guy, I'm a software developer, and I'm outsourcing something, like I'm working with Infosys Wipro, I'm outsourcing. I'm going through the procurement guy. So they think you guys don't know, you are just procurement guy, just place an order. Don't come and argue with me, that's all I want this supplier. At the moment, if I change the supplier name, this guy will have difficulty. And sometimes I have seen this company, is a real example around. The supplier has already negotiated with the IT guy. And now only as a procurement guy, I'm placing an order. What can I negotiate? Nothing. My power is 0. So that's what we need, a cross-functional integrations around. So this is where the management has to think, how do we. So saving is not only procurement job, saving is a cross-functional teamwork also. Better supply network and more collaborative supplier relationship, greater supply chain resilience part. Now the resilience part, the word has picked up very fast after COVID-19. Can I pick up the shock? Personal resilience also we are doing, all of us now. We're taking a lot of herbal thing, this thing, just to improve our body shock, that my body can withstand my resilience. In the past, nobody cared about yoga, nobody cared about anything. Now we are caring everything to improve our resilience. Same way we need to improve our resilience in the company also. Can my company withstand the shock or not? Can my company do it without stopping the whole work? If one supplier troubles me, what do I do? So the resilience means visibility. If I don't have visibility in the company end to end, my resilience is poor. So this is where I'll come back later on maturity of your office. So your maturity of the office, we have developed one, you can say small game around, so we'll discuss with that later. So transformation, we had broadly, I would say, assessment and opportunities. So when we talk of transformation, the first question comes, you should be very clear, top to bottom, everybody in your department, what are the opportunities? Why should we transform it? Assess it. Think of it in a mathematical way. What saving this will bring? Because the people understand the language of finance. So you guys have to come with the mathematics, how much investment is required, what savings will happen, what benefits will happen. You have to come with that. So target the picture part and the roadmap has to be prepared. Then you have to make a good leadership team. Any transformation cannot happen until you have a good leadership team. And define the overall long-term objectives around. Develop a precise target picture. So you draw the picture, guys, you are today here. The way I gave you the table, today your procurement is like this, tomorrow will be like this. Give a pictorial view of this. What savings will happen? So give them those things, give them the cost and benefits, prioritize this, and then select the pilot project. Don't do in a big bang. I know sometimes people think big bang. I know when we did in 2005, we were in a big risk. So if we do the big bang and if it fails, all of us will lose job. Let me be honest. If it was click, we get all promotions. So big bang is risky also, opportunity is also there. So I leave it to you. If your team is strong, then go ahead. Don't worry, big bang. But if you feel my people are old timers, they don't want to change, then go with step by step in a phased manner. Pilots and buy-in, kick off and conduct pilot projects. So do in a pilot basis. But one thing I have learned, you need to learn how to market yourself, procurement marketing. which procurement people don't know how to market. If you have done something good, let everybody know there's a good thing done. You must have seen there are many few people who thank you sometimes because they think this is your job. But the day you do a bad job, then everybody comes and complains because of you, assembly line is stopped. So keep in mind, any transformation you do, if there are good things to be done, don't be humble. It doesn't carry you much. So tell everybody, guys, this is what change we have brought. So you have to do how to do marketing. This is what the word has come, procurement marketing part. And lastly, the transformation. So initiate the overall transformation, establish the governance mechanism, and manage cultural change. Culture. That change has to happen. Because some people are still living in the old culture. They think, oh, this is how we were doing 20 years back, and we were successful. Why the hell you want to change this? Okay, guys, there are critical levers. Capture the digital identity opportunities part. One is analytics-driven insights. The insights which are coming through analytics. Second is culture of innovation. Culture of innovation means you have to reward those people who come with innovative ideas. You don't need to punish them. So innovation comes when you start provoking them, guys. Can we do it in a different way? Can we do it this way? Then people will become innovative and they should be rewarded also. So if that part is there around with the new ideas, new innovations, I'm sure the culture of innovation there. But if everybody is equal, whether you work or not, you bring innovative ideas or not, then certainly it puts the organization down. Optimal spend management approach around. And nowadays, after COVID-19, everybody is short of money. I can see that. Cash is a king. So you have to be very careful. Spend part, don't spend too much. Until you are convinced, go in a phased manner. No company has enough funds nowadays. Everybody is short, a small, a medium, a large company, everybody. So spend management approach has to be there. Smart orchestrations. Like in a musical system, we orchestrate. Same way as source to pay, you should be able to orchestrate end to end very smoothly around. That's what we expect around the job wise. Integrated risk management. In the past, people never cared about risk. What risk, they'll say? Delay by 1 week, no worry, we'll do it. But nowadays, the risk management after COVID-19, I think has become very critical. And many companies are moving into this direction, integrating it. I know whether you guys have got business continuity plans or not, BCP. I remember the time in 2007, 2008, we implemented in the US BCP, business continuity plan, must. So everybody has to look around the BCP. If this happens, are we ready or not? Omnichannel stakeholder experience, ecosystem of network solutions. So now you're going into ecosystem. You're moving from silos to ecosystem. So this network solution, which is connected through cloud housing, district level procurement workforce, your procurement workforce should be digitally enabled and vision for value. Everybody must think of a vision for value, which has to come from the top. So this is where normally we say everybody around. I mean, I don't know, I've gone to many big companies around and I always ask them, on the procurement function, I don't see on the wall anything around. So that means there's no vision there. There's no strategy there. There's no mission there. So I expect that there is a mission statement, there's a vision part, and there's a value part. I think that makes a big difference. Whether you like it or not, when you come to the office, you see on the wall, blank walls. So, but if there is something written down, it motivates you. This is what we have to do it. Whether it's a whiteboard, whether it's something, you should have something vision for value. I think that's the way I would put it up. So they are the critical levers. You can capture it the way you want. Now coming back to the transformation step, the very first step is digitize. Before I go to digitalization, I have to digitize my existing transaction. The example I gave it to you, the guy sitting in Philippines whole day doing. So convert all your information into digital. then I can do spend visibility is there. In future, you will digitalize, I agree with you, but the old data, please convert from analog to digital. Then automate the manual task. If you feel some tasks are manual, repetitive, automate. Even in the manufacturing, we have automated. You know the good old days when paint welding was done manually for the car. Now it is done by robotic. And you can see the difference, quality is there. Earlier I know the guy will weld halfway, then he's got a coffee break, he goes away, comes after coffee breaks, leaves some part, again starts welding around, and quality used to be useless. So some processes which are manual, which are purely routine, it's nothing to do with the job saving or this. I think the quality will improve. Because mundane job, we are all human beings, we get fed up. If I have to do mundane job whole day, same, I get fed up. In the process, I'll do mistake. But computers will not do mistakes. Automation will not do mistakes. So I've got no choice if you want to improve the quality. Some areas has to be automated. Experience part, contextualize user experience by embedding procurement in core business. The user's experience is very important around. Like you and me, when we do e-commerce, e-shopping through Amazon, we have our own experience. We buy e-ticket, we have our own experience. So that experience we want built into the system around. So you're talking of digitalizations, but please get the experience what they want. For whom we are spending money is my customer. He could be in-house or outside. So there has to be innovation, innovation, innovation. So this means the innovation will come from outside supplier. You have to get that also. You have to reward them. That's the way to go. So digitalization, I have talked to you a lot. Automation, experience has to come. We have to become customer-centric. I know some people are talking of supplier centricity also by supplier relationship. So I would say customer is becoming this driver when we talk of digitalization. Innovations. The structure has to change. If you are at CPO level, you need, I'm sure you are having already like this. You have a sourcing group. So within sourcing, you've got a category managers. You got SRM managers. And then you've got a procurement guy who's doing P2P. So you've got a vice president, procurement operation, vice president for sourcing and category. And that's the way it is divided around. But then you also need center of excellence, a separate group whose job should be to change your processes, change your technologies, help you in technologies. As I said to you, I was heading a research and development in the very beginning in Denmark of supply chain. So my job was to do with EDI standards, UNSPSC, developing other things around. Okay, what is procurement maturity is part? Now here I want to talk around because when we talk of, we want to be shock-proof. I'm doing digital, I want to be shock-proof. I want to withstand all, I got resilience. So when we talk of resilience, we're talking of maturity. So maturity means what level of efficiency, effectiveness you have, defines a path for improvements around, and your organization comparison to the best practices, benchmark standards. Now here I will take few slides around. I wanted to do actually an exercise with you, but that may take longer time. So that will become your assignment from home. So when you go back after the training, so there's an assignment. So those who will complete it, they'll get certificate of successful completion. Those who won't, they'll get only certificate of participation. Now when we talk of maturity, so when we're talking of the whole digitalization, strategic sourcing, category management, so in process, we're becoming mature. So what is the level of maturity? Are we getting 5 out of 5, 4 out of 5, 3 out of 5, 2 out of 5, 1 out of 5? And many companies, we have done it. It's not that it's a new thing in India. We have happened to do it for 1 or 2 top companies around. We check the maturity level. So here we also have got something for you to assess yourself, but that is in a very simplified version. So I would expect that each one of you will do with a sincere way, so that's what we want. So business unit focus. So some people are focusing on their own small business units. They are not aligned with the function, goals, and objectives. They don't know anything. My job is to make purchase order. My job is to make an acquisition. My job is to follow up this. My job is to this. So each one is a silo. But they are not aligned with the whole function. The holistic knowledge is poor. Functionally specific performance improvement. Everybody is looking at their own improvements. My table is clean. One guy is having too many things piled up. Integrated supply chain organization. Profitable, demand-driven fulfillments. And then we are last, the profit shared value creation. So that's what we look around. Are we really doing value creation, or we are only focusing on price and price, cost savings? So these are the broad thing we look around. Whether you have, when we do assessments, you will have that. We'll share with you the assignment. Strategy, what is your strategy of procurement? Strategic sourcing you have implemented or not? What is your processes around? Supplier managements around? Information management, how you do it? Your structure of the organizations? Honestly, I would say if you don't have a strategic sourcing separately or category management separately, you are still in a very traditional procurement. You're not even procurement level 2 or level 3. Then we look at the performance management, how you manage the performance. So keeping all this in mind, there are tons of questions, 50, 60 questions. So you have to answer them sincerely. If you want, you can share with your teams in your office, and then at least start understanding where is your maturity level. So these are 5 maturity levels around. The very first maturity level is 1, very first one. Procurement happens like a traditional way. You make a request to me in a paper-based. At the most, it will come as an email form, and I act on it. If nothing comes in my in-tray, nothing comes in my email, I'm relaxed. My job is done for the whole day. Level 2 is repeatable. So there's a vendor management inventories. I got this. Then I see, guys. Level 3 is very defined. You create your work yourself. Nobody has to tell you what to do. You say, guys, okay, last year, what did we spend? This year plan we have around. Can I strategize this procurement? Can I convert my old spend into 4 boxes, 2x2 matrix, which are leverage item, which are critical item? How should I act on this? So you basically create your own work. Level 4 and level 5 is the one we are becoming digital, much more things around. So there are 5 category levels around. So we have tons of questions for each. So those questions will be shared with you. So maybe today we can send them after this. Yeah. So that assignment we'll send to you today. Actually, we were thinking of doing the assignment here, but that may take you 1 hour. So we thought we give it to you. So that will become your case study and assignment. I know one of them candidate is a student there. So in case you want something, Udit, you want something else assignment, we'll give it to you separate assignment then. Or if you have that
actually, I can do it for my last employer because I worked.
Super. So
I will try to do it for them.
Great, because that will help you. I mean, then you can share with your company also, not a big thing.
Okay.
Because then you can say, I'm doing free for you, and this is what my judgment is there. And reason for that, justification is there, it's available to you. Why you're calling them level 3, 4, 5, whichever, you know.
Okay.
So majority I've seen, and let me tell you honestly, the company I've seen, the biggest company in India was coming score of 3.5. So 4 and 5 still have to see. So if any one of you does 4 and 5, I'm going to get back to you, get more answer for that. Okay, guys, so these are 5 levels. So you will get on the same questions around. So there are, each level has got many questions around, so you will have to answer. Now coming back to the sample cases in India, what are there? We got around 2 million. This is one company example around I'm talking of. Leveraging RPA to speed up the payments. 90% of the payment is automated. 95% of blocked referrals are managed by BOT. So this is the company BOT is picking up. I'm sure many of you must be having BOT to take care of basic queries around. Otherwise, you have to send some standard answers can go from the BOT if BOT is smart enough. Automate the process of tracking and claiming exercise, RPN repeats, blockchain for tracking the shipments. This is the activity which I have collected around India is using around. So blockchain is not a new thing for India. Already people are doing it. And I was surprised even blockchain, Uber is also thinking of using it. So people are using it. How they will use it, I don't know. But this is the issue. So RPA is there around and BOT is there. This is what India is using many companies around. So these example which I'm quoting is mostly from auto companies around. So they are the one who are doing it. This is from one single company who is using digital assistant to address various queries around. Vendor queries resolution takes a lot of our time, distracts from important work. This is a quote I'm giving from one company. In India, it's a very big company. Our systems are complex and information is not easy to find our portals system to address our queries. So they are already using the digital assistant. So this is the way they are addressing it. Can I listen from any one of you who is using this digital assistant to address queries? Anyone from the team? Whether BOT, digital assistant, whatever you want to call.
Actually, I mean, we are a service provider. So, we have already digital assistant in the procurement, which our customers are using for a lot of internal activities as a procurement department, and for the end users to raise purchase requisitions, to get approvals, to check any queries. So it's not like we are serving the customers or they are serving their customers, I would say.
Okay, great. You are a service provider, yeah.
Yeah.
Good. So is it picking up in a big way in Dubai, this one? I'm sure every company must be more or less.
Definitely. It's like a minimum checklist for vendor evaluation. You need to have these technologies or modern innovations. Chatbots is one of them, and it is widely accepted. It has been provided by all the e-procurement vendors, I would say now, or rather many. Of course, it's in a nascent stage. It's evolving, but it is there. The technology is already there.
Can I expect that everybody could get into this at least this much as an outcome from this program to start with digital assistant, BOT, the cost is not high. And the beautiful thing, there are a lot of open source software available. Am I right, Lokesh?
Absolutely right. Absolutely. And it's based on machine learning. So actually it's the way how you want to mold it.
Yeah. This is where the disruption, technology disruption, I know in the good old days, we always thought, oh, this will cost me so much. Nowadays, there are so many open source. If somebody wants, they can really do small pitch into this area. And once you get experience, then you can hire the consultant and experts to do more.
Absolutely. And especially in the service-based industries, it is already there. All the banks out in UAE, they have rather took a back foot for their customer call centers, and digital chatbots are in front, by which you can avoid at least 30 to 40% of your day-to-day normal queries. If a customer wants to deep dive more, it will automatically connect you to the customer call center. So that's how it is getting optimization. I mean, they're using chatbots to optimize.
Anyone else want to share their experience on this?
Yeah, so in our company, I don't know whether it is correct or not, digital assistant. We have a supplier relationship management portal that is called SRM portal.
Yeah.
Okay, so there practically each and every transaction is recorded digitally. So any pending activities at supplier end, any new demand that gets generated at in our organization. So the information flows back and forth. Any issue that supplier has in any transaction, they can raise it through the SRM, and we can reply them through the same portal. And that is actually, helping us a lot. So I think it is one form of digital assistant.
Great. I mean, that's good. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyone else around, my friend, before we move to the next? Okay, now let's get to the next ones. Assessment part, if you want to see, are you ready? Do you have an overarching strategies or not? I think this is also important. And before we get into a transformation, assess yourself. The roadmap is there, but you need to assess yourself. Digital stakeholders engagements. Then we're talking a digital enabled workforce. If your workforce is not digitally enabled, that means you're not ready. Similar digital service orchestrations part. So you need to have RPA and all the systems around digital network ecosystem. If you are only having your own ERP, ecosystem is not connected, the network is not there, the outside information, outside data is not coming in, outside knowledge is not coming to you, I think those could be the limitations around. Inside driven enterprise, if you're totally inside driven, whenever you make a decision, I know in the good old days, it was all by gut feeling, experience, I got 30 years experience, do this way. But nowadays experience, nobody listens, nobody even cares for it. They say, guys, why should I do this? You have to justify. And justify based on data. I get the data, from data I get the information, then I find this, oh, this is not working well. Can we think of a change? Can we this thing? Can we simulate it? So it has to be inside driven enterprise. So my request to you, before we say we are ready for this, you first thing need stakeholders engagement, all your stakeholders within the company and outside, your supplier also, because they're also your stakeholder, if they are interested in this. If not, then you're not going to move much further. If your ecosystem remains only within the company, outside people are not willing to join, it's very limited. Team has to be trained, service orchestrations. So this is where I look at the existing scenario of India. You have to go in a step-by-step approach. You cannot think of a big bang approach. Go with a small approach, whether digital assistant, whether you want to go into the other one, robotic process automation, or you want to go with the 3D printing. Go with a step-by-step approach. When results are good, then you get more encouragement from the top management, more funding from the management, and people will buy it. Then we come to successful digital strategy steps around value-based procurement strategies, digital assessments, tools. I think the same point which I have told earlier. Lastly, I would touch is the phased implementation is very important around, because this subject is very complex and you don't want to put the company into trouble. So you'll say, guys, let me take one step on this. Now here, let me touch few things on COVID-19, because all of us are affected by digital, this COVID-19. So very first thing I would say is secure your supply base, because I know many people have lost the secure supply base who were importing earlier. So you have to secure it. If your supply base is not secured, demand is picking up, and now I can see, the supply is becoming a problem. Many auto companies are having a problem. 30% they were importing earlier. So now that supply base is disturbed. So you have to secure by either training other ones around, by building another one. So you have to find, if you don't have a secure supply base, your demand might be picking up, but then you can't cope up with it. So supply base is the first thing I think all of us has to work on it. Those who are in real manufacturing, use funds intelligently. The funds are very limited. So don't jump into modernization overnight. First you have to learn to stand. Then we walk and learn. But the only thing is process time should not be very long. So use funds intelligently, build resilience for the future, innovate with purpose. So this is where whenever you want to bring any innovation, new ideas around, there should be purpose for it. If there's no purpose, don't jump into this. That's the way we look at it. Then beyond coronavirus, plan to the normal. So resolve first, return and resilience. And then when we come to reimagination, that's the time you can talk of digitalization. not before that. So the first part we are expecting should take not more than 3 months. The return and resilience could be 6 months. So within 6 months, then you are ready for reform part around. State of digital procurement today, when we talk of new ways of doing things, a customer-centric approach, velocity of change. So your velocity has to change, speed has to change, and has to become customer-centric. Now, when it comes to profile, we talked about people. Big ideas, brainstorm, think different, be creative. So we need people who are with big ideas. We don't want people who are just routine people who knows what they were doing 5 years back and they're doing still for the last 5 years same thing again and again. Because those people who've been doing same thing for 5 years, to me 5 years is equal to 1 year. It's not a 5-year experience. So big ideas, brainstorm, think different, be creative. So you need people with new ideas, new thinking all the time around. So for this, the mindset has to change. That's very, very important around. And this is where I was reading something about the education in India also versus in the US, because my whole family is in the US. So when we look around here, and since I was also studying here we study for cramming. Creativity is not even taught about it. Somebody came around, I know in the school we were taught a formula of A plus B square. Everybody knows, I'm sure all of you know, is A square plus B square plus 2AB. But very few people will be knowing where do I use it. Because that type of creativity is never taught in the schools and colleges. We are only taught cram. The moment you cram, you get full marks and you say, oh, you are the smartest guy. But you are never taught around what I'm learning, where do I use this? So this is where I think we need to be creative, means we have to think again and again, whatever you guys are doing around, you should question yourself, forget about the job, why I'm doing this, what is the benefit, can I do in a different way? So that I think is important. The moment you start thinking in a different way, you'll be the smartest guy. And your office, you should do brainstorming on a regular basis. That's the way I look at it. Final thoughts, procurement managers have a new focus to move from cutting costs to enabling new processes, making corporation more connected, agile to create value. That's the way we look at it. So last, we have a few poll questions and then we'll have Q&A. Okay, we got the feedback. Is technology alone sufficient? I think very rightly, all of you said, no exceptions. Alone, technology can't do any miracles. Do you agree the COVID-19 has accelerated? Yes, we all have got accelerated because our mindset have changed. Even my mindset has changed, to be honest. Earlier, I would love and go and do shopping myself. Now I do my e-shopping. So we all have changed. So as per your personal assessment, what are the maturity levels? Beginners, I know you guys have done your own good. Some of you think leader, I would love to see it. I'm sending the assignment to you today itself. After this I think we'll send the assignment to you. Please do it. And I expect, I think it's good for you also, good for us also. And then based on that, you will get certificate of successful completion. Now the next one we move is, so with this, I think comes to the thank you part, and I want to thank you for the patient hearing.